There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission. If we wish to make it louder, we will bring up the volume. If we wish to make it softer, we will tune it to a whisper. We will control the horizontal. We will control the vertical. We can roll the image, make it flutter. We can change the focus to a soft blur, or sharpen it to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit quietly and we will control all that you see and hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your television set. You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind.
Good morning, Macon, Georgia, and everyone else around the world through the World Wide Web. This is the Morning Roast for Flippin' Friday, July 19, 2013. You're here live from the doghouse with Irv, Ed, and DB. Yours truly right here.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes. You
I gotta clear that throat.
Yeah, need a lozenge or something. You need a lozenge?
No, I'm okay. It's just a coffee and a lack of cereal.
Yes. Can you smell what the roast is brewing?
Good morning. These nuts for you.
Yeah.
And ciao London. It's good to have you.
Good to have you, yes. It's 8:05 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time in Macon, Georgia. It's 70 degrees with a high of 91 and a low of 73 degrees. It's sunny for right now, but don't let the sunlight fool you because it's going to be raining all weekend long.
Damn. I thought it was going to be a great day today. I thought you were going to say, like, sun. It's going to be sunny.
Well, it's sunny for right now,
Yeah.
but you know how tricky it is. It's been this whole month, you know.
Well, we had a great time yesterday.
We had a
What
wing
the
dang doodle
hell?
of a time.
I mean, it was incredible. Not only did we have a pretty good show, I really felt good about our show yesterday. We had, we were number one at right here, the Morning Roast, of course.
Oh, yes.
How was the movie? It was great. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about it. We did critique a couple of things. But overall, the movie was great. And, of course. I want to talk about that, Tower. As a matter of fact, I'd like you to call in if possible. Give us the juicy detail of what happened. But I was there for some of it. And I agree with your post. I mean, it was kind of lame. And, it was kind of like, Danny Glover was the host. And he's going back and forth on the stage. I think it could have been done better, no doubt about it. I thought he was going to break out into a rap, like hey ho, Anyway, I'm not good at that, but I thought it was kind of two-sided here. They're saying no politicians allowed to speak, but yet they have Paul Bronson up there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a candidate.
Oh, yes.
He's a candidate, but yet he was on stage. It didn't make any sense to me. It just seemed like they didn't have all their ducks in a row. But, of course, they did have ducks up there, and Anthony shot them down, as always. Mm-hmm. Or shouted them down. But, anyway, you made a scene. I want to know verbatim what scene you made, Ant. Or you're more than welcome to come down and give us the juicy stuff here on the Morning Roast as a guest.
Yes.
I would love to have you come down and end our weekend with a great big shouting bang.
Yes, very much so.
Why the hell not?
Definitely. Would
you do that, Tower? Good morning, Vorpal Bite. Would you do that, Tower? Are you even there, or are you taking a piss again? You were so vocal yesterday. Why aren't you saying that? Anyway,
wow.
So, the forum, by the way, Gail Daniels, who works at Mix in the Morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's really nice to me, and I was glad to see her. Of course, initially I thought she was Ricketts' wife. I don't know why, but
yeah,
I thought she kind of looks like... Okay, good. You're going to call in a little bit. We'd love to have you call. But hear this, Ant. Yesterday when I entered the forum with you, you were a little behind me, but I was walking straight towards the front. And I ran into Gail Daniels, who is one of the co-hosts, I believe, at Mix in the Morning,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Along with the kid, the kid with the glasses who
right.
kind of does the... Now, he's a sweetheart. That kid is a nice kid. I like him. I said, you're probably the best thing that's on that show. Because even there was a few people that even said it, that the best thing that show's got going right now is that kid. Because when he interrupts, like, all of a sudden, it's interesting. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I met him. And, he was actually happy to meet me. He's like, "Oh, how are you?" He was almost like I'm legend, I guess. And so, then, of course, I said first initially to Gail Daniels. And I thought she was Ricketts' wife. It took me a couple of... as soon as I got up to her, I realized it wasn't her. But on my way to her, I thought it was Ricketts' wife. I'm like, oh, shit, what's she doing here? And anyway, it was Gail Daniels. So she said, oh, no political stuff. No, I said, I'm not a politician anymore. I'm not, She said, well, I said, look, I'm here to show support. I may not even say anything. I'm talking about Scott, yes, yeah. Yeah, he's a good kid, Tower. You got to meet him. He kind of sounded like us. Like, he's fed up with the shit in Macon, and he thinks, I don't want to get him in trouble with Rick. Mm-hmm. But he thinks Rick is a good guy, but he's kind of a loner. And, believe it or not, Doug Thickhead, or whatever his name is, Thickpen.
Gary, not Doug.
Who wants a name like that? Anyway, Gary Thickpen.
Pigpen? Gary Pigpen?
Yeah, Gary, that's right, Pigpen. Gary Pigpen doesn't even associate with Rick Knight. Mm-hmm. They don't really, hang out. Once he comes on the show, he splits, and that's what Scott told me. He says, he doesn't, they don't even talk. Oh. And he said that Rick is kind of a loner. Mm-hmm. I knew that shit. I mean, you could tell. You could tell the difference between the way that we hosted together as a threesome, and even now as a twosome.
Yeah.
That we're closer than they are.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it.
Because we get to hang out. We go to lunch together. We went to Atlanta together yesterday. It was fun. Yeah. It was great. I was so relaxed. Derek is a great driver. There were a couple of times when he couldn't see coming home. It was scary as hell.
Well, yeah.
Jesus, those freaking roads in Macon.
Yeah, they're not illuminated as they are in Atlanta.
Not at all. You can have a freaking car crash here pretty easy.
Yeah, matter of fact, I almost actually got stopped by the police on the way leaving here.
No shit.
No kidding. No kidding.
While driving black.
Actually, well, I thought that's supposed, but I did say that I really couldn't admit the speed limit was right around the corner of the light, so
what were you doing, 20 miles over?
Well, I wouldn't say 20, but I was probably maybe like 40 4 or 5. But I
Well,
don't know
you
if
just
I
got
got
off the highway too, so your mind is still set on that. That's what happens when you get off the highway and you start to hit the local streets.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of stay on that heavy speed. You don't realize you have to go at least 20 miles an hour less than what you were doing on the highway on average. Maybe
Yeah.
more.
Possibly.
We were doing, what, 70 all the way down?
Yeah,
At least.
70. Yeah, about 70, 75.
Yeah, and then you get on the making shit, you got to do 35 in a road. Like, and one of the guys that I met at the when I went to Bibb County, he says, they make these roads where, like, Zebulon Road, right, is a perfect example, and Forsyth Road, or AKA Vineville, before it becomes down by where the little theater is, where Anthony is doing his show Hairspray.
Yeah.
Those roads are designed for 70 mile an hour, but yet they put a 35 mile an hour speed limit. But when the construction was being done, and the details of the construction, it actually said it's a 70 mile an hour road that's being built on the inner city as an escape route. I don't know what that means, but
Yeah.
anyway,
Where do
you
have
can
to
go
skip
up
from?
to speeds of 70 miles an hour, which is exactly what they do on Zebulon Road. Right?
Right.
Anyway.
But
So you got stopped?
I got stopped, and he saw the address on my driver's license. You still live at such and such Stroud Circle? So
No, I don't. I just came out of the county jail.
I just came, took a friend home, just came out of town and just going home, just driving home. Well, slow down. Okay, yes, sir, I got it.
Slow down. Especially while driving as a black man.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, check. That's what he was saying. Was he black guy?
No, he was.
Of course. Of course not. Well, anyway, you talk about having
Yeah,
racial
just by
problems. It was funny. Yesterday they asked, have you ever been discriminated in Macon, Georgia? How many people have been discriminated by race in Macon, Georgia? Every freaking body raised their hand. And Danny Glover goes, wow, even the white people are raising their hand. Hello. And of course, one guy, he says, oh, well, how did you get discriminated? So he asked the white guy to stand up.
Mm-hmm.
This is after I spoke, because they knew I had to leave. Somehow I wound up speaking first. But then again, everybody was afraid to answer the first question, which was, do you think that Macon, Georgia has a race problem? And everybody raised their hand. And then he says, give me one, So I stood up because everybody else was kind of like frozen stiff.
Right.
Once again, afraid to speak up. So I got up and I said, look, a lot of these problems could be settled if everybody sat down and you allowed them to speak, even if they're wrong.
Exactly.
Just let them vent it out and get it out. And maybe we'll get somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, of course, that everybody's thinking,
Yeah, I was there for about 4 or 5 minutes, and it was like, hey man, look, it's 6:40. We need to get on the road. I'm just glad we actually made it there at the red carpet premiere, because the red carpet premiere, that part where all the guests who come in, they get to walk on the red carpet to make it feel like it's an actual movie premiere.
Oh yeah, it was great to
give
see
that
all
Hollywood
those
feel
women
to it.
with like 4 sizes too small dresses on. Some of them were just not. I wouldn't wear that shit.
Yeah.
As a woman, of course.
Okay.
But some of them were hot. I mean, the main character,
yes.
she was beautiful.
Oh, she was
not
very
only beautiful, but a beautiful person inside.
Yeah, she seems to have a
She-
really
what a
nice
great
disposition.
lady she
I like
was.
her. Yes.
And
She's very
of course,
pretty. You know what? She actually reminded me of, in the face, she actually kind of reminded me of Aaliyah, the lead singer Aaliyah.
Yeah. She looks Spanish. She was reminding me how hard and how sweet she was. She was reminding me of my older sister Rose. Of course, she was younger. She's younger than I am, I bet.
Yeah.
But she kind of reminded me like my older sister Rosie. She was very, very nice, very nice. And of course, we were treated like carte blanche. Good morning,
Oh,
DJ.
yes.
It was nice that when Michelangelo, he came. Well, I was looking for him, and he found. Oh, Irv, what's up? And then he said, "Morning roast, the press." I said, "Whoa, that's nice."
All
And
right.
then everybody that I kept running into, "Oh, you're the guy from the roast. Aren't you guys
Yeah.
from the roast?"
Mhm.
So that was pretty cool. Some of the people
Really cool.
knew who the hell we were.
Yeah, even the cast members said, I know you're from the Rose. More like, really?
And then they were thanking us for the interview that we did with Michelangelo, and of course, the little girl's mother, the mother of the little girl who plays in the movie.
Yes.
And then I got to meet them, of course, and the father.
Meet the father, yes.
And,
Yeah, she wasn't able to come to the premiere though.
The mother who called us wasn't able to come.
Yeah,
She was
day
in the
after
hospital.
Michelangelo called.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I met the little girl who's in the movie, the daughter, and then her little sister, who was a carbon copy of her, and their son, who is a rapper. He's going to be calling us
Yes.
within the next few days, and he's going to rap for us. I thought it would be different to have him rap, since I hate rap music. Why the hell not have it? Here's something that I can't stand.
Yeah.
On the phone,
This might
besides
be
a
from
prank
New York.
phone call. Yeah. So anyway,
But it was
morning
a really,
to Cal.
it was a very great turnout. I would have to say. They also had
Yeah, we had a lot of people there.
Also had some people, some DVDs that of his previous work that came out earlier. I have his other drama that he made
Yeah,
previously.
bring it up to the camera so people could see.
Yeah, it's a drama called Words to Kill.
Yeah, there
Hopefully-
you go. Words
hopefully
to
the-
kill. It's
hopefully
all
the-
glassy. Okay, that's good. Right there. All right. Words to kill.
Yes, it's
And kind of like the words that you gave yesterday, Anthony. Words to kill.
yes,
It's
yeah. Basically, it's a
words to kill an event.
In this movie, Michelangelo, even he directed it, but he also stars in this one. He wasn't the star in this one. He was in Prison by
Well,
Love.
but in the movie that we saw, in
He did
Prison
have
by
a small
Love,
role though.
yeah, he had a cameo role. He had he was all over that movie.
Oh, all over that movie. More ways than one. You have to see it to know what we're talking.
Yeah.
And you can't say he doesn't promote himself. He promotes himself.
Yeah. And I like the idea. He wears fedoras like me. He wears little fedoras.
Uh-huh.
And he came out with a gray fedora and a gray jacket initially.
Yeah.
And then disappears. And at the end of the movie, he has a white fedora and a white jacket, which I thought Elton Johnish.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of thought
Yeah.
about that. It's like, hey, why you dress
Yeah,
clothes?
what the hell?
I mean, you
What's
didn't
the dressing?
Yeah, like why do you have to change clothes?
Did you
didn't-
change your underwear?
Like you didn't have. I mean, you weren't that sweaty. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
he
the
was.
theater had air
But he
conditioning.
looked good. He looked
Yeah,
good.
no
He
doubt
looked
about
good.
it. No doubt about
That
it.
guy looks Puerto Rican.
Well, he is Puerto Rican. He's a
Yeah.
black Puerto Rican guy.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that Puerto Rican must be the heavy chromosome in there because well, he does kind of look black, but yeah. Yeah,
Considering the fact that 90% of the slaves went to Latin America, but,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
let's not forget about it.
Anyway, hey Gary, what's in the news? We really had a great time, guys.
Yeah.
The drive there and back were wonderful. Get the hell out of Macon, Georgia
Yes.
for a while. Jeez.
Yeah, and plus, if you ever go to any of his, has another film premiere, which I hope he has for Missing, because that's a film that I acted in it with Michelangelo.
Yeah.
I hope it'll come out soon and have a premiere for it, and I hope they'll be able to submit it to the Macon Film Festival. But definitely check out his DVDs, Words to Kill, of his previous work, as well as Singling ATL 1 and Singling ATL 2.
Yeah, that you got to see because there's one guy in that movie that looks exactly like you, Anthony.
Oh yeah,
Except he's heavier. You got a better physique than
Ryan
this guy.
Healy. Yeah, Ryan Healy.
He looks exactly like you, Ant.
Yeah. Matter of
I'm like-
fact, yeah.
and then there was one that looked like Lisa Fulfer.
Yeah, Kim Vickery.
And both of them are fatter than you guys. No, right? Lisa's skinny.
Uh-huh.
That girl was a little bit. I mean, she.
Curvy.
Yeah, I mean, not fat at all.
Yeah.
But she was. She had more skin on.
Yeah.
but exactly like Lisa Fulfer.
Yeah.
With the
Hair in
same
the face.
twangy, everything in the hair and the eyes and the face and the mouth. Everything like Lisa, except she's about maybe 10 pounds heavier.
Yeah,
And
maybe
this
an
guy,
inch.
exactly, you have to counterpart.
Yeah.
Then the other guy is like you, Anthony, but of course he tries to be funny in the movie.
Yeah.
But I think Anthony would beat the shit out of that guy
Well,
at being funny.
Well, yeah. Because, see, Anthony is more, dramatically.
Yeah,
trained.
dramatically.
He's artistically more trained.
Yeah,
and
that's
more,
true.
He has more experience than
Yeah,
Ryan
no
Healy.
doubt.
Because I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about Ryan Healy because I worked with him. I worked with him behind the camera in Wonder Woman. He was in Wonder Woman. He played Michelangelo's heavy guys. One of his
One of his studs.
one of his thugs who beat up that
He's
that
a white
elderly
thug.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually his brother was also in a movie. Chad Healy. He was in Chip Factor.
Yeah.
He was injected with the smart chip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Anthony's got what it takes. I keep saying that if Anthony ever worked with Michelangelo, there would be and Anthony will probably help him with some shit like the bloopers that we saw, the one that I saw.
Yeah.
I don't think Anthony would allow a blooper to occur. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think he would say no. He would probably not get in there.
So what was the part?
Well, the biggest blooper that I saw was when the husband was leaving the bar after he got fired, and then he was having all the drinks. He kept drinking and drinking, all drunk. Mm-hmm. And as he's walking out the door, and he took the bottle from the bar, and the guy's like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to charge you $100. Knock it off." And he's walking away. They show him walking like this, and then, he's continually walking. And then they go back to the bartender and say, "I'm gonna charge you $100." When they went back, he was still in the same place, still and walking like.
I guess
I think they should have just said cut, and then when they went back, they should have said, "No, well, you're not here. You're supposed to be like another 5-10 feet away."
Yeah.
By the time they looked at his face. Unless everything stood in suspended animation.
Okay. I guess they may have let that go because maybe he was just trying to get his balance or something or whatever. I guess I kind of let that slip. There was, aside from that, I guess I was definitely, I enjoyed it. I definitely do know that I guess there is a TP effect. A Tyler Perry effect, I guess.
What, a TB?
TP, Tyler Perry effect.
The tuberculosis effect.
Oh, no.
All right, well.
Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. Other than that, it was a very well made film.
It was great.
It was.
I love
I love most of the transitions of it.
Yeah, but you mentioned something about transition. But before we go into this, we're getting some people coming in here. We want to acknowledge their presence because they are important to us. So let us say good morning to
Ellen Macon.
Good morning, Ellen.
DJ Fugus,
Yes.
Mackinac, Nical 3000. Good morning, Stephen. Vorpal 2. Ernie and Kathy.
Yeah, I like that.
And Twiggy Bank 66 along with Tower of London.
Of course,
Good morning,
of course. Welcome all, and hopefully we'll get more in here. And hopefully we'll have a tame show today.
Very tame.
Where people aren't going off in tangents, having their own worldly conversations.
Yes, a tame show, not lethargic though.
Shot.
Yes.
But anyway,
You
going
can
back,
definitely-
you did mention something to me yesterday about a fade out and a blackout. You remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
Can you please explain to the
Yeah.
audience what the blooper was?
Yeah, the blooper. Well, I guess the part that was done. There was a part where they were showing a scene where they were, I guess, supposedly going to a restaurant.
Yeah.
And they had such and such place established 1961. It faded in. It was in black, and you could tell it was, I guess, going to another.
It was black, and then they faded in.
And then they faded. You see the picture of the front end of the
restaurant, and it said established in 1961 or some shit.
And then it faded to black. Now, usually, I guess if it was a documentary, if you had like pictures of it, you could probably let that slide with like have a picture fade in and then fade to black. But if it's supposed to be like a restaurant,
continuing
of that.
In other words, it was it was black, and then it opened up,
and then
it faded in the restaurant,
and then
right?
it faded out,
and then
black.
then it went black again, and then it went to the restaurant,
And
what should have happened,
what should have happened
you,
to me, being a film
editor and shit, is supposed to be
dissolve
black. Like that,
and
then dissolve it in gray, and then go into the restaurant.
Well, no, not dissolve in gray. Just basically dissolve it into.
Well, what the hell you use gray for yesterday? You said something about gray.
Well, no, I said. Well, I guess I mispronounced the word. Dissolving into the using a fade. Use a dissolve transition rather than a fade to black transition.
Right. Have color saturation slowly.
Yeah. Yeah,
right.
Like that. Yeah.
Right. And
exactly.
so it made it look like it was, big freaking deal. They showed the restaurant built in 1961. Okay, let's go to another part.
Yeah, but it would have been really cool to just had the establishment. You know what it looks like on the outside. Now you want to see what's on the inside, and you see the characters inside.
Right.
That's what I was talking about. But aside from that, those are just minor stuff. I mean, plot-wise, storyline, it was well constructed.
Yeah, the plot line.
Yes.
But there was something else that we talked about, which was important to take note, which is the husband. How the hell did he wind up that mentally disturbed? I mean, they go into, he's beating her up for almost no freaking reason.
Yeah, I mean, it was just
kind of weird.
They're just having breakfast, and then all of a sudden he just, so you can Hadouken, just
because the bacon was cold.
Yeah, because the bacon was cold. It's like, man, you got a microwave oven, just heat it up. Just heat it up. I mean,
and she was so sweet, telling him, "Oh, I'm sorry, honey, I'll warm it up." And he's like, beats the shit out of her anyway.
Yeah,
like bloodies her nose and bruises her. And I thought it was I don't know. I mean, even for domestic violence, which I know very much of. I grew up in a household with domestic violence. I thought it was a little bit over the top, or it just was too shocking to see at the moment without any real history of why this guy became that way.
Yeah, that's the
Good morning, ATT.
Yeah, that's the one thing I was concerned of, because I was asking some of the actors who were in the movie, like, did the guy, was he an alcoholic, or was he
or did he have syphilis?
Yeah, syphilis. I don't know about that. Did he have? Was he bipolar? Not to cause a stir. I know how big that's a hot topic.
Was he on pills? Yeah, because it was just a little too much over the top.
Because I mean, granted, I know, I always, try to be. I'm not a brute, like saying condoning, hitting people of either gender. The thing is, mostly people just don't, man or woman, don't use just straight tiger uppercut somebody in the middle of the day, over.
But you never know. I mean, obviously your parents were wonderfully married for how many years?
41 years.
Yeah, they didn't have that. Maybe they had their little spats, but I don't think he came from a household. Believe me, I know. My father would come home one day. He came home, and we had a big console television. If you remember what those were.
Yeah,
the
floor
big,
model
huge.
TVs.
Yeah, the floor models, a big, gorgeous piece of furniture. And the television was made of oak. I mean, this thing was, at the time, was about $500, which is a lot of money in the 70s for a television set, right?
Yeah.
And color. Plus, the color was kind of Technicolor, which is today's day with HD.
That was their HD at the time.
But my brother Edward, or AKA known here on the show as Edward Mampa, he was smoking cigarettes. And in the living room where my dad lived, my dad, it was the living room and what would have been the dining room on the second floor. My dad lived in that area. He used the dining room as his bedroom. So all of a sudden he sees an ash of a cigarette on top of the TV. You know what he does? He takes a crowbar and destroys the television, fights all over the house, hits my mother, of course, for allowing it to happen. I'll never forget that. And then when the television was out on the street, the tube was still perfect, because what he did was he ripped open the back and beat the shit out of all the tubes in the back and destroyed it and threw it out on the street. And everybody would walk by and think, my God, what a beautiful TV. And then they look in the back, oh, all the tubes were destroyed. That was my dad. Okay, I mean, going from 0 to absolute insanity.
0 to 85.
Yeah. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's just one story. I got a boat shitload of them. Where he would go from nowhere to absolute insanity.
So basically from 0 to,
oh my God.
to the speed of sound, right?
Yeah, and not only that, but his screams were emotional. So it was like watching a horror movie. Like when you hear somebody scream in horror, that's the way he was.
Dang.
So I'm a little kid upstairs, like cowering, like I'm gonna die. My father's gonna kill me because of his anger. You hear all the furniture crashing downstairs. It's a horrible way to live.
Goodness, man. So it was like really, really...
Yeah, but being 5 and 6 year old in my household was like living around a minefield.
Wow. I was just seeing some grown man just screaming and then beating the TV.
Oh, no, and crying out, like his yell was like emotional, like oh my God, what's going on?
Yeah.
I mean, totally freaking. I mean, that's why I yell so much. Yeah, shit, that even sounds happier than what yeah. Let me guess, he worked in customer service. No, Mac, no, he didn't. Actually, my father was a chef. But before that, he was a boxer.
Yeah.
And he actually won the Golden Gloves for New York. He was a Golden Glove lightweight boxer. And he used my mom as a punching bag. That's how he practiced.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But, you know, then he became a chef.
Yeah.
And a very good one at that. He cooked and still does. My dad is still alive. He's 84. My mom is dead, of course. She died of diabetes because of all the shit that she had to go through. My dad, as well as having so many damn kids. She had 9 kids. And we were a big family.
Yeah.
Quite a history.
Yeah.
And you know what? I got the easy end of it. Thank God I wasn't like my older brother, who really, when my dad was young, was a son of a bitch. By the time he got down to me, I'm the 7th of 9. You know, he was a little bit older and calmer, but he was still insane, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I was just saying, yeah. Matter of fact, maybe in the next hour...
Good morning, DJ!
Good morning, DJ Mean Gene. What's going on? We were talking about domestic violence and the stuff that's going on, which was main story of Michelangelo's movie In Prison by Love. They had his red carpet premiere last night at the Lakeshore, I think it was the Lake Drive, Midtown Theater.
Midtown Theater. In
Atlanta, Georgia last night. It was a very large, it was a very good turnout. Matter of fact, I wish I would have gotten a picture of her while I had the chance.
Of who?
Jasmine Guy, who played Whitley.
Oh, Jasmine Guy was there.
Yes.
She played Whitley on, what was the name of that show?
A Different World.
A Different World.
I love that show because Dwayne Wayne was my TV doppelganger, and his character ended up marrying Whitley, which I love because finally I found a show where the nerdy guy actually got the girl, black, because he's a nerd. He's a black nerd like myself. So we have so many things. Dwayne Wayne and I have so many things in common.
You gotta wear glasses, though. You can't be
I
used to
wear glasses. I just got my eyesight just got better, as I gotten older. But it's so many things. Well, so many things we have in common. I mean, well, one, Dwayne Wayne and I, we both had crushes on Lisa Bonet. Well, Denise Huxtable. We both were computer science majors in college. We both had a best friend that pledged a fraternity and ended up just getting women left and right just because he was in a fraternity.
Yeah.
We were both, considered nerds. We were both left-handed. That's just 5 reasons right there.
Right. And you both had secretaries named Lincoln. And Kennedy. No. But listen, no, I'm serious. Last time was great. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we had a lot of beautiful men and women there. The women, of course, look gorgeous in their 3 sizes, 4 sizes, 2 small dresses. Mm-hmm. And bouncing
the
around.
Children, yeah, the children were there.
And the children were
The
there.
cast members, yeah, they were great kids.
Jasmine Guy looked skinny as hell, though. I didn't recognize her.
Oh, I recognize
She looked
her.
like a school teacher.
Well, she is kind of petite, so yeah,
Yeah.
a little school teacher, yeah. But it was really maybe later on the show, Ed will be able to show some of the photographs that I took during the
Yeah.
premiere last night. I sent them to him just shortly before the show started. Hopefully, we'll be able to get a chance to check them out. Anyway, wow, it's 8:38. So
Well,
far.
I did want to voice some of the chatters very briefly. They've been putting some stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
AT&T says that he's married 22 years. That's great.
Very
Congratulations.
good. Congratulations.
22. I'm sure that you put your wife through hell as she is. 22 years. And what else? Let me guess, he worked in customer service? No, Mac, no. My dad worked, well, maybe customer service, but he was a chef.
Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't mess around with him. You couldn't go in his kitchen. I remember
Because
one
he's a
time a
former
waitress
boxer.
kept walking in the kitchen, I swear to you. And my father throws a cleaver down and he goes, "Get the hell out of my kitchen." Boy, that woman ran. You couldn't even see the back of her head. I mean, she ran so fast out of there. Another guy kept calling him Chico, right? So my dad says, "My name is not Chico." And he goes, "All right, Chico." So my father decided to give him a whack right in his face. And he had a cigar and he flattened that guy's cigar. He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, Jerry, I'm sorry." My father was insane. Still is in some ways. Let me see. DJ Mean, of course, is here.
Mm-hmm.
Glad to have you, buddy. Is your dog here? No, not yet. Too much. He's coming today sometime around 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
6:30. True. I have put my wife through a lot of crap, and she is strong. I do not know how she has put up with me.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. There you go.
Okay.
All right, this is yesterday at the premiere when we got there.
Yeah, we were at the parking lot.
Yeah, with the big spot behind Derek
Mm-hmm.
on the wall.
Good morning, T.L. Wilson. How you doing? Good morning, Donnie Curry and Cool Car 69.
Who are you people?
Which? Oh yeah, those are some
Yeah,
of the
here we go. There's
cast members.
Michelangelo with the white.
With a
This
white
is the
fedora.
girl that kind of resembles Lisa Fulford.
Yes, Kim Vickery.
The second from the left.
Mm-hmm.
Except she's a little bit chunky, but God, she talks like her and looks like her eyes, everything.
Mm-hmm.
She reminds me of Lisa Fulford.
Eyes and hair. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you too
Yeah.
much.
that's great. That's a great shot right
Who's
there.
that?
Which one? Oh, that's Joyce
Okay,
White. She was
now she plays a lawyer in the movie, and just like a lawyer,
Joyce
she
White,
was
yeah.
like terrible. Right, as a lawyer, like she's like, "Why are you here?" You know, and then
Yeah.
you
I mean,
gotta
she
see
did her
the
role
movie.
well. Yeah, she did.
She did okay.
She did really well.
Okay,
And-
here we go. Now, the girl in the middle, the taller one, she's the main actress. And the little girl that she's holding,
Yes.
she's also in the movie. We interviewed her mom here on the Morning Roast.
Yes.
And we talked about her and we talked about how she's rating her.
Mm-hmm.
The girl on the side there, and the husband, of course, that's the husband who beats her up.
Yes, Marvin. I think.
Right. And then the girl on the tall one on the right plays the older daughter in the movie.
Yes.
The little
Sure, yeah.
one wasn't in the movie. She's just a other young lady's sister.
Yeah, the younger sister of.
But
the
what a
smaller-
great dad, the husband, the real father of those two girls. Oh,
Okay, now, yeah,
no,
no, they
that-
weren't. They weren't
sorry.
in the movie.
That's another movie.
Yeah, that's a whole other movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's called Baseballs
Yes, you have to check.
and Spaceballs.
Yes, you have to check that on
Yeah.
Showtime.
Yeah, that's
Netflix.
another one. Gotta check that out when I debut my underwear.
Yes.
Banana hammock.
Anyway, so that would have been something.
Yeah, that really.
Hey,
would've
listen,
been-
I would have gotten away with it. Some of those women were wearing like really skimpy,
Mm-hmm.
unbelievable dress.
Provocative.
Dude, they were. I mean, here were these women. Those dresses would fit
Mm-hmm.
like somebody that was, 4'11"
Yes.
and 100 pounds. And meanwhile, some of these women were 160, 180 pounds
Mm-hmm.
and about 5'9".
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
So you can only imagine.
Well, they were only 5'9" with 7-inch heels. They were probably like 5.
Well, yeah, well,
flat foot.
yeah. Well, they had. Anyway, it was like fitting 2 pounds of sausage in a 1 pound bag. On some of them.
Awesome, yes.
Yeah, on
yes.
some. Not all of them.
Correct. Oh,
And there was one woman with a purse that had all these strings. I was afraid she was gonna like trip over them.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
She had this little purse that was itty bitty, but it had all these beads going down to the floor. I'm like,
Yes. Hopefully,
somebody grab some scissors and snip that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's our good old friend Ann.
Yes. Hopefully, we'll be able to see some photos of that.
Yeah, besides the photos that Ed wants to throw up, hopefully we'll see some more photos.
Yeah.
that are relevant.
Hope we can get the photo of the.
sent me 5 fucking photos.
Well, you only showed 2.
I showed all of them. I showed all the photos you showed me.
What? You only showed one of him and one of
What about the one
D'Angelo.
with Irv?
Yes.
That's it?
You weren't paying attention.
Oh.
I had 5
Okay.
photos. I put
Well,
them
there's only 2 that you showed.
I showed 5 photos.
How did you? Yeah, 5 photos,
That
including
one?
the one of me going back and forth and one of
That
him.
one of Irv.
Okay, that's one.
Yeah, I
You're right,
showed-
that one I
I
forgot.
already showed
No,
that.
no, we didn't see that one.
Okay, that's the one.
All right, well, that's
yeah, I
that.
You
took
were
a
busy,
picture.
too busy bitching about something.
Oh, okay.
And that looks better. Yeah, there you go. That's me.
Alright, yeah, that's Irv. And you seen this.
Mm-hmm.
No. Well, anyway, that was fun. And then the lawyer. Yeah, you're right. Maybe you did. Anyway.
Okay.
So, yeah, that you're right. That picture does make me look like Spike Lee somewhat, doesn't it?
Yeah, I can see that. I can see.
And there's Irv.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
That looks like Gentile.
Yes.
Anyway. Oh, man. So, great premiere. I definitely, absolutely
Recommend to see it.
recommend it, especially those of you who are beating the hell out of your wives or any of you
husbands.
wives that are beating your husband.
Yes.
Go and
They
see
even
it.
had some of his earlier work. They were on sale for like $2. So thank goodness I had enough change to actually get one of them.
Yeah, we had chump change.
Yeah, Words to Kill. That was a drama that he did before his first drama that he made. Actually, he had some other 2 films, comedies, Single in the ATL 1 and 2. Single in the ATL 1 is kind of like Ally McBealish, is kind of a romantic comedy, whereas Single in the ATL 2 is more like a comedy buddy movie, almost like a hangover type movie in a way.
Yeah.
Since you've seen the trailer, it's a very funny movie. Actually number 2 is my favorite one between the 2.
Okay, well, what's in the news? And by the way, we're going to talk a little bit about the forum. Hopefully, we got a call from Tower to explain what happened. But there was a forum yesterday that we went to prior to going to Atlanta,
Right.
of which I guess the premise of this whole thing, the reason why they brought this together, is because of the Trayvon Zimmerman trial and how much Macon was affected by that.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, of course, we weren't affected, and they didn't give a shit when Junebug was shot to death like a dog.
Yeah.
He was a black man that was unarmed.
Which will be 7 months.
They didn't really care about that.
Which will be 7 months since he was killed this upcoming Sunday.
Right.
'cause it's be
But
21st.
they gave a shit about something that happens outside the borders of Macon, which is very typical. You know? Meanwhile, what goes on in this city, nobody cares. But if it goes on outside, everybody's got an opinion about it,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous.
Yeah. I do have some local news.
Yeah.
An 80-year-old woman is dead after a fire destroyed her 100-year-old house in Gray.
There you go.
Jones County Fire Chief Don Graham told WJXA the fire began just before 9:30 a.m. in the home of 140 East Clinton Street. The state fire marshal's office later indicated the fire started from food left on the stove in the residence. When emergency crews arrived at the East Clinton Street home, they were told someone was trapped inside the blaze. She said, Graham, the fire chief, said that our units at arrival went into the rescue operations. We found a patient victim in the back bedroom, exited the subject from there to the medical center. Paramedics took over then, but unfortunately it was too late. Graham says the victim was already in cardiac arrest, but as the firefighters took her out of the house, and I guess she pretty much died on arrival. And once the house was cleared, firefighters turned their attention to the blaze, but the age of the home made the fire too difficult to fight. Said that a firefighter and another person suffered injuries and were also taken to the medical center as well.
Well, here's a topic that I think Anthony may find interesting. Since basically they mentioned it, Anthony mentioned it to me, but I didn't even know it went off yesterday. It happened yesterday, Ant. Would you believe the mayoral candidates actually went to City Hall and had an event going on with the NAACP? And of course it says, this is crazy, folks. This is going off at the same time as that other event was going off, which to me sounds like they didn't want people to show up to this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The NAACP hosted an event and asked WMAZ's Randall Savage to participate in the panelists. All 6 candidates were in attendance. Well, Anthony Harris wasn't there. I guess they don't consider you a candidate yet, Anthony.
I guess you have to pay money to be a candidate.
Joe Allen was there. Charlie Bishop was there. David Kuzno was there. Jack Ellis was there. Sam Hartless was there. And Mayor Third Reich was there. All these guys were there. But Anthony Harris. I think they bamboozled us. And they bamboozled you.
Bamboozled. Run amok. Led astray.
Yeah.
Hoodwinked.
Yeah.
Malcolm X, 1990.
And all that shit. I'm serious. I mean, this is the way the politics are here in Macon, Georgia, folks. I guess they would have said, well, it was a unity thing. All the male candidates are all different races.
Mm-hmm.
We brought them all there. And by the way, they were asked 10 questions. In other words, it wasn't a forum. Why do they keep calling these things a forum?
Yeah.
It's a setup. It's a scripted show. It's like wrestling. It's all fake. You know what the outcome is going to be.
Why are you looking at me, Timmy? Yeah, really?
No, I'm serious. It's all fake. It's like wrestling. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put a post out that says exactly that. This mayoral race is like a wrestling match. All scripted and fake. You know, if, what's his name?
What?
The
Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Yeah, Ric Flair.
16-time world champion.
You don't think that son of a bitch would have gotten his ass kicked a few times, but of course he always won? Because it was scripted.
Woo! To beat a man, you gotta beat the man.
Unfreaking believable.
And Dusty Rhodes, you are not that man.
Just like the forum.
Woo!
Smoke and mirrors, right, ATG? Yeah, it keeps U.S. civilians like us, we're like treated like cattle. What do they call those guys? Oh, yeah, right, cracker. The ones that they say that hoard the herds, right? Well, we know what it means. Cracking a whip.
Yeah. That's where the term comes from.
Come this way. Shh, keep your mouth shut. Don't say nothing. You're not allowed to speak. We're going to ask the question. By the way, Mr. Mayor, what did you have for lunch today? I had a crepe sandwich. They don't ask questions. They ask the most lame freaking questions in the world. Like, who formulated these questions? Where the hell are you living? Unbelievable. It's just like everywhere else, sir. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
By the way, DJ Me says, unfortunately, ATT, the whole Trayvon media spectacle only did one thing, racially polarizing already wound up nation.
Yeah, you got
I
that
agree.
right.
Well, you should see what they did here, DJ. They come here and they say, oh, we're going to have a forum, you know, the Trayvon Martin, everybody's upset. Well, what about Junebug? And the unnecessary death of that man at the Pionono Kroger's. Why didn't that rile up the community? But meanwhile, amen, I was upset about the verdict with the Zimmerman trial. But we didn't have a trial here. We had the government come in and declare.
You know why and people didn't care about it because one, it wasn't on national news. It was on city news, citywide, and maybe a couple of Atlanta stations or some cities outside of Macon talked about it, but it wasn't like it was barely statewide news, if anything. Yeah. I mean, you had like Rob Redding, who's a nationally syndicated radio program. He did mention Junebug though. Yeah. But that was the only reason why he mentioned it because his one of the guests on his show was a former Macon Mayor C. Jack Ellis. That's why he knew about it.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
Well, I mean,
plus not to mention, Junebug was shot by a cop. Trayvon Martin was shot by a guy who wasn't even a cop at all. Cop wannabe. So
yeah, well,
go figure.
And of course, Junebug had what they call schizophrenia, that they made a central theme of their justification.
Mm-hmm. So you should shoot somebody because they're crazy.
Yeah. And meanwhile, thanks, These Nuts for You, we got the mayoral candidate runoff, which I just had up. But it says the candidates for mayor making big consolidated government met in a debate. It wasn't a debate. They don't debate around here. They're afraid to.
Mm-hmm.
All 6 candidates were in attendance. They are Bibb County Commissioner Joe Allen, Bishop, Kuzno, Ellis, and Hart, and Rick. And they were asked 10 questions dealing with topics from public safety to managing the budget. Additional candidates may enter the mayoral race as well, as the commission races when qualifying reopens on Monday. It closes on Wednesday. People in Macon Bibb County will choose which candidates will lead the new government when they head to the polls on September 17th. There you have it.
Mm-hmm.
Mayoral candidates have a bogus debate. It was not a debate. It was a question asked and answer session.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it was.
Definitely.
A question and answer.
That's some other.
And by the way, they were only given about 2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
How much can you say in 2 minutes? Look at how much I said in less than an hour.
Yeah. Also, I have some news for those who want a job or need a job. There's bad news, good news in Georgia jobless rate. In Atlanta, the Georgia Department of Labor announced today that Georgia's seasonally adjusted unemployment rate increased to 8.6% in June. The rate was up 0.3 of a percentage point from 8.3% in May, but it was down 0.5 of a percentage point from 9.1% in June a year ago. It says Labor Commissioner Mark Butler said in a news release that the rate increased primarily because of 2 factors that occurred at this time of year. A large number of education workers are unemployed during the summer, and new graduates are considered unemployed until they find a job. And said that the seasonal impact of the unemployment rate was compounded because Georgia lost 600 jobs, and the number of people in the labor force declined by 1,341, according to the department. The number of jobs slightly declined from 4,043,500 jobs down from 4,044,100 in May. State and local government education services lost over 12,000 jobs, the most of any sector. Wow! Even though some industries did add workers, the increases came from professional and business services, 8,000 jobs. There were 4,000 jobs added in leisure and hospitality, construction, financial services. Each was 1,700, and manufacturing and other services getting 1,200 each new jobs. So there were.
Wow. Well, that's not the only thing. We got and thank you. I think it was ATT. Somebody send this to me. Thank you, whoever. I'll look next time. But we got public flunks Bibb County schools. And once again, they give it a grade and they flunked. It says when interim Bibb County Schools Superintendent Steve Smith. This is the guy that replaced that Dollar Man guy.
Okay.
Who was rejected in Louisiana, by the way.
Yeah, in Louisiana. Yeah. They put a mojo on him.
Yeah, and ask the public to grade his district, the majority gives him a big F. Big F. Like F you.
Yeah.
F for you. Yeah.
Oh, failure. Well,
that's part of the recent school, home, and security survey released on Thursday. That was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
About 1,270 people took part in the online survey, and about half were parents. But school employees, students, and others in the community also answered questions. The bottom line was the failing grade for the district as a whole. Less than 1% gave Bibb schools an A. 8% gave it a B. 41% gave the district that it says it deserves a C. But most people, 51%, flunked the Bibb school system.
Wow.
But when the survey asked people, yeah, go ahead. You know, folks, most people go and move to different places, countries, districts, cities, whatever. A lot of people do it for the school.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people that move are parents. They want to buy a new home, raise their kids in a house. And
Right.
so they go from an apartment, they just got married, maybe they had a baby. Now the baby's 4 or 5 years old, they want to put him into school. They start to think about buying a house. They say, well, let's get the hell out of town. Let's go find a place where there's good schools. And just like everybody bypassing us on the way to Savannah or Florida, they bypass us for our school. They don't see the sign that they can raise kids here with good school. And that's terrible.
Really.
That has got to knob off at least 40% of the public. At least. I would think.
Speaking of Bibb County schools,
Well, I did want to just say, but when people were asked about their own schools, the scores were much higher.
of course.
Well, more than 60% gave their local schools an A or B. The public also gave district leaders several priorities to focus over the next school year. There you have it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm still getting kind of lagged over the film premiere. We didn't get home till I didn't get home till like 1:45. So
Yeah.
But speaking of school,
Should have had a 5-hour energy.
hopefully be one of our sponsors.
And by the way, they did ask them about the improvements that they want. There's a lot of stats on that
Yes.
that we'll talk
The
about.
Bibb Board of
another
Education,
show.
Bibb Board of Education delays the start of this upcoming 2013-2014 school year.
And they said 10-14. They had a typo.
A typo. It says 2013. Yeah, it should be.
Yeah,
2000,
whoever wrote that
10-14.
story had to go back to school.
Yeah.
They don't even know what year they were. The year 1014. Maybe they are right. Maybe that's the year that we're in. In this city.
Just weeks before the scheduled return just weeks before the scheduled return of students to Bibb County Public Schools, the board decided yesterday, Thursday afternoon, to delay the start of the coming school year by 4 days. The 2013-2014 school year was set to begin Thursday on August 1st, but students will return to the classroom the following Monday, August 5th. And there'll be more updates on this story as
Well, whenever
the
they
next
open
week.
the schools up. Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, DJ, you see, this is what I'm talking about, Derek.
How your dick hanging?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a lot of that yesterday. Anyway, the wrestling outcomes are determined way ahead to keep the feud going. Same goes for singing reality shows, America's Got Talent, The Voice, American Idol. Haven't you seen how the people the show want to get rid of? They make sure they give the singer and participant a crappy song. I never thought of that, but
but they pick their
I'll
own songs. So
agree.
how do they pick a crappy song? What if they get a crappy song and they sing the daylights out of it? Then what then? You know, I'm just.
Well, I mean, they give them a song that doesn't fit them. You know, you remember there was some people on America's on American Idol that you know, the judges would later say, you know, that song was not for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, sometimes they allow
I see
them
what
to
you
sing a
mean.
crappy song, but you never know.
True. Speaking of wrestling, though, the WWE is coming to Macon at the Macon Coliseum, July
There
27th.
you go. I know you're gonna have
SummerSlam.
You're gonna find your way to sneak in. Can't get the tickets. All right, Too Much says the votes for American Idol are from the public near the final few shows. Are you saying it's fixed? Well, you never know. Or maybe some of the people that are voting online are being knocked out and say, "Oh, there's too many of those." Let's disconnect that line for half an hour.
Well, yeah. Well, truth be told, they do get to vote more than once, so I wouldn't be surprised if they stuffing the ballot boxes, so to speak.
Speaking of stuffing, we're gonna go on a break.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know why that always makes you laugh.
And we're done. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. It's 9:03 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. It's sunny and 74 in Macon with a high of 91 and a low of 73. You're watching the Morning Roast live from the doghouse. Yeah. We'll be right back.
And don't go away. We'll be back. More to talk about.
Don't touch that mouse.
Amstel.
De Amstelhaven of zo.
Ja.
Naar beneden. Ja. Oh.
Kunnen we beginnen?
Ja, ben je er klaar voor?
Ja. Ja, hallo en welkom bij Tina TV. Iedere week weer een kijkje in de showbiz. Deze week gaat dat misdaad worden met niemand minder. Ik ben blij dat hij er is. John van der Heuvel. Hey John, leuk dat je er bent. Waar ik benieuwd naar ben, wat vind jij naast jouw eigen programma nou de beste misdaadprogramma's op televisie?
Gaat het goed, Tina?
Ja. Jawel.
Oké.
Ja?
Ja, zeker.
Ja?
Pak even die beginpresentatie was goed. Je pakt die laatste vraag maar even op.
Ja.
Ja?
Sorry, ja.
Dat is een hele tijd toeschoten.
Oké. Ja. Niemand minder dan John van der Heuvel. John, hi, mijn eerste vraag aan jou. Wat vind jij nou, naast jouw eigen programma, de beste misdaadprogramma's op televisie?
Ja, dat is toch het programma wat eigenlijk al jarenlang op de Nederlandse televisie te zien is. Het programma van Peter R. de Vries.
Ja.
Het is natuurlijk een beetje concurrent van me, maar ja, op zich... Ja?
Oh, jongens.
Nou.
Ik heb een ongelukje. Ik ben... Fuck.
She pooped her pants.
Wow. What a
Rolling Stone
horrible
is being
accent.
criticized for treating Boston bomber Jahar Sarnaev as a, quote, rock star. Yesterday, the magazine released the instantly controversial cover of its August issue featuring Jahar's image, and backlash ensued. Many have criticized the choice as irresponsible, saying the photo glamorizes the 19-year-old, and today, CBS, Walgreens, and Rite Aid all announced they will not carry the issue in its stores out of respect to victims of the attack and their families. Jahar is currently awaiting trial for the crimes he committed with his now-deceased 27-year-old brother, Tamerlan Tsarnaev. Rolling Stone has not released the full article yet, but in a statement today, they defended the cover story. They said it is in keeping with their, quote, commitment to serious and thoughtful coverage of the most important political and cultural issues of our day. Journalist Jan Reitman, who researched and wrote the piece over 2 months, also weighed in on the debate via Twitter. She said the backlash is, quote, kind of astonishing. No one has even read it yet. The mayor of Boston also responded in an open letter to Rolling Stone, calling the cover ill-conceived and stating, your August 3rd cover rewards a terrorist with celebrity treatment. Rolling Stone is no stranger to controversy. Their Charles Manson cover in 1970 was roundly criticized for many of the same reasons as the Jahar cover.
With cameras mounted on a police cruiser,
what we're looking at is a license plate directly across the street, 131-9161.
Cops in San Leandro, California can capture and record license plates as they drive down any street. An efficient method to catch car thieves or pull over vehicles that show up in a criminal database.
With technology and with smart, good policing, it allows us to keep our public safe.
But when a local activist petitioned the police department and got a hold of the records on his car, he says he was stunned by what he saw.
Did you think it was a case of Big Brother's gone too far?
Yeah, I do think Big Brother's gone too far because I have not been charged with, I'm not suspected of committing any crime.
Mike Katz-Lakabe found what he says is an egregious violation of privacy. 112 instances over 2 years where police just happened to get images of his car and more.
So this picture shows my car parked in the driveway of my house and very clearly shows my daughters and myself getting out of the car.
The license plate scanner is always on. Anytime a police officer drives the car, it's recording, storing license plates on its servers. In just a few minutes, we watch the system record hundreds of plates. Police say the data can later be accessed to solve crimes. Everything from following leads on Amber Alerts to collecting unpaid tickets. But Katz-Lakabe says a line has clearly been crossed.
Innocent people should not have their records being stored by law enforcement.
Law enforcement, though, has wholeheartedly embraced this technology. More than a third of large police agencies are using automated plate readers, according to a 2010 study by George Mason University. There are 3 cameras on the roof, one on the left, one on the right, and one on the side. They capture plates instantaneously. Those plates are then cross-checked against suspect vehicles. So if a car comes across as being stolen, the officer will be instantly alerted.
High alert.
It's not that data collection is bad, critics say, but it's that departments keep the information on file, sometimes for months, sometimes for years. Every department has its own policy. San Leandro, for instance, keeps its data for a year.
Once they have the location.
I've been wondering what those things are they put them on the trunks here.
What?
Well, we live in a police state, folks. Let's face it.
Mm-hmm.
We're no longer. It's just a matter of time before they round us all up and throw us in a freaking camp. It's just a matter of a couple of years.
Let's pick it up.
We'll all wind up in a camp.
Well, they do call it now. They call it jail.
Auschwitz too.
He's the smallest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They have their way with you.
Yeah. Auschwitz too.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna happen. I mean, it's eventual. I mean, they're building it up. Think about it. They're gonna know everything about it. They probably already do.
Yeah, matter of
right,
fact.
DJ? They're gonna round us all up, and they're gonna use the money of the so-called entitlement programs, all those billions of dollars, and say, here's what you're entitled to. Being rounded up like cattle, being fed pork sausage every day.
That's not bad, no pork sausage.
With a little bit of rice. With
Yeah,
a
it
little
depends on how much pork you...
That's not so bad.
Yeah, man. Better than good
What the hell?
bread and butter.
Better than zero, right?
Or Twinkies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna use cyanide gas. And, they say, well, you know what? The chef is tired today. He doesn't want to have to cook for all these people. Let's dump half of them right now. Get rid of them. Oh, by the way, let's debone them and use their skin and their stuff so these people can eat. They're gonna feed ourselves to ourselves.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, phosphorus.
I'm serious. I mean, it's gonna get so ridiculous. I'm telling you.
Speaking of which, it's like Chase, friend Chase H. Ambrose, who's a reporter over at WJXA, he was talking about how it's getting close to the last days and stuff like that in Detroit. Says he could see a real life RoboCop coming up there, from the original movie RoboCop. Yeah. But speaking of Detroit, the city of Detroit has filed for Chapter 9 bankruptcy protection in federal court.
They should have done that. They should have done that a long time ago.
Yeah. They're the largest city in the U.S. to actually go to file for bankruptcy. Yeah. It's the largest city in U.S. history to do so. The filing begins a 30 to 90-day period that will determine whether the city is eligible for Chapter 9 protection and define how many claimants might compete for the limited settlement resources that Detroit has to offer. The bankruptcy petition would have seek protection from creditors and unions who are renegotiating an $18.5 billion in debt and other liabilities.
Wow.
That's a lot of stuff, particularly for... I know it's got to be really bad, especially for the automakers and stuff.
Well, this is terrible. You talk about they make a movie like Escape New York. They should go have a movie called Escape Detroit.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
they did. They called it RoboCop.
And that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
A whole freaking city. They can't... What do they got to offer, though? I mean, besides the car industry. They have what? Mackinac?
That's it. Well, yeah, true.
It's on the uppers. Well, I mean, that's not Detroit. I mean, it's Michigan, but...
Yeah, that's true. Hopefully, well, thing is, I guess that's the reason why people have...
St. Ignace?
Yeah, I think that's probably why they have sports teams, though, but it will not going to do the city any good if the people can't afford the tickets or the concessions and stuff. I mean, that's supposed to bring income into the city. And hopefully it will bring more, especially with the upcoming season with the Detroit Lions, be able to bring income to the city.
Well, I haven't heard the Detroit Lions win anything in years. When the hell did they win last?
last season they actually had a winning season. Under Matthew Stafford. He's the quarterback.
Did they win?
Well, yeah, they won some games. They
didn't win the.
No, they didn't go all the way to the Super Bowl. No,
Yeah.
no. But I'm glad Matthew Stafford's doing the best that he can because hey, he's a UGA alumnus like myself. Go Dogs. Anyway.
Yeah, ATT says most people with good jobs left Detroit to the outlying areas due to crime and hijacking. Of course, white flight during the 60s riots, 70s riot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this just happened yesterday. Good morning, Manny. It's called the Big Three bailout car companies. Once that started, the other people fled. Why you think Jeff Daniels tried to come to Michigan TV ad campaign? That's true. I was thinking about that, DJ.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking but then they pick a guy like Jeff Daniels. Like, he's never a better person. Like, that guy, he's a good actor, but he was in Dumb and Dumber.
Well, yeah, but he's been in some other. He's been on shows.
What other?
He's been on shows like The Newsroom, which is an Emmy-nominated show.
Yeah, he would have been on Match Game PM if he was. Those shows were still around. Like those has-been, like the Jasmine guys of the has-been actors.
Dang,
he's on a new show now, but it's on cable.
Goodness. I guess that's me. I guess that'll probably be worse. That's kind of like me talking about Charles Barkley as I normally.
Yeah, well, Charles Barkley's another one.
I'm a legend. Where's your ring, legend? Where's your championship
Not
ring?
Only that, you're a legend. You're a legend in your own mind, you stupid ass. I never saw him as a legend. I only saw him that he fit his name, Barkley, always barking. Barking up the wrong trees.
Yeah, speaking of he's barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah, that's what.
Oh my goodness. Charles Barkley put his whole foot in his mouth again.
Okay, here we go. You see that? Never misses a beat. And you know why he does this?
What, to be in the news?
Yeah, no, being on the news, you know why? Because he ain't got game no more. He's fat.
What game?
Old.
He was a round mound of rebound and stuff. Yeah, making Jenny Craig commercials.
Rebound with his mouth.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Read the story on...
Well, he was interviewed on, I guess, on MSNBC, I think, with CNBC, with Maria Bartiromo. She's the finance news anchor who kind of looks very striking to Sophia Loren, a very beautiful reporter. And he, on an interview recently, Charles Barkley says, "Well, I agree with the verdict. I feel sorry that young kid got killed, but they didn't have enough evidence to charge him. Something clearly went wrong that night. Clearly something went wrong. I feel bad for anybody who loses a kid, but if you looked at the case and you don't make it, there was some racial profiling, no question about it, but something happened that changed the dynamic of that night, and I know. That's probably not a popular opinion among most people, but just looking at the evidence, I agree with the verdict."
Go ahead, keep going.
Yeah.
All right, so Charles Barkley's chiming in on this Trayvon Martin thing. I mean, you know, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Keep your mouth shut.
Well, I'm just saying.
That important that people need to hear. Oh, I wonder what Charles Barkley has to say about this.
Oh, please. This is the same guy that says, "I'm not a role model." Well, he got that point right. Who wants to have him as a role model? Fat as well.
No, the only thing that rolls out of you is your mouth.
And the stomach. But that's neither here nor there. You know, talking about, making Jenny Craig commercials. I lost 50 pounds. If you had done that 20 years ago, you would have had a ring. Wow. Michael Jordan would have 5 rings instead of 6.
Once again, a bogus spokesman. Trying to speak on stuff that he has no... Yet, you know, I would have taken his opinion on it if I saw his fat ass at the Zimmerman trial. But meanwhile, he's doing what we're doing, watching it on TV and making all these opinions. And but at least Charles Barkley has the opportunity to make his own opinion, unlike what happened yesterday. Right, Ant? Hey, we got Anthony Harris on the phone here. You called to kind of discuss what the hell happened after I left.
Okay.
With this bogus forum, as he calls it. Go ahead, Anthony. Why don't you tell our audience what happened with our wonderful people in Macon trying to make a difference, and what happened?
Well, as you know, Irvin, we got there together, and you stopped up at the top of the aisle there to talk to some gentleman. I didn't know who that was. You were telling somebody about some bald guy. You were talking to them, and you were kind of promoting the Morning Rose, telling that guy about the Rose. And then I went on down there, grabbed us a seat, and it was very empty, as you remember at first. I mean, there were a total of like 5 people in there that weren't part of the forum. And
wow.
They got sat down. Irvin came on down, and then he started talking to Gail Daniels and Scott and that little group over there.
Yeah.
It's just pretty funny. But you got to tell that story, Irvin, about what she said to you that you told.
I know. I don't remember ever saying that to her. She said that I called her a flat ass white B word. I said, what the hell? I don't even talk like that.
That's funny.
Yeah, well, you said that about a year and a half ago. It was a long time ago. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry that I said that, if I said that, but that doesn't even sound like me.
Right. So
and I think she got that from Rick Knight.
Right. So Irvin is talking to them, and then I'm sitting there waiting, and Molly McWilliams, who was one of the organizers, she comes up to me, and, she just has some kind words, and she says, thanks for being civil about this online, because I was going back and forth online with them about it. And I told her basically what I was going to say. I said it's not a question, it's more of a comment. It's not going to be more than 45 seconds long.
Yeah.
And so that she gave me the impression that, okay, yeah, that should be fine, then. You should be able to say something. That should be fine. So I'm going through, I'm thinking, okay, great, I'll do my piece, get out of here, time to go to Hairspray. I got to leave early anyway. So I'm sitting there, and eventually, Irvin, you come on over, you sit with me, and they have to, of course, hold the starting time because there's no one in there. And so Molly comes up on the microphone and says something to the effect, we're going to wait a few minutes longer so we can maybe get some more people in here. And about, I guess, what was it, Irvin, about 6:15 they started. They finally started about 6:15, 6:20 or so.
Mm-hmm.
And then, that one gentleman stood up.
Right, the one that was here 5 years, kind of like me. He's about the same term as me here, right?
Yeah. He's and let me tell your audience, they did say people running for office and politicians currently in office are not allowed to speak. But the email I had right before I left home last night to pick you up, Irvin, and go to the forum was, and I still have that email, I can pull it up, is Molly McWilliams saying, those already in office and those that have already qualified. Now, technically, I haven't qualified yet. I don't qualify till July 22nd to the 24th, and I'm not in office right now. So technically, I don't fit into that so-called column that says I can't speak. Well, anyway, that's fine. So we go along, and that guy stands up from L.A. He said he's been here 5 years, and how he was just shocked when a buddy of his in Macon showed him the terminal station and how it still said, colored people, colored only, still etched in the stone.
Right, that's what, before I left. That was the last thing that I saw, and you said.
And then I, of course, was raising my hand.
Broke protocol.
And then as I raised my hand and kept it up to respond, then Gail Daniels comes up to me quietly behind me because she's one of the moderators with the microphone, let people speak. And she comes up to me and she whispers, Anthony, we're not allowing people running for office and politicians in office to speak. And I said, well, I was told it's those that have qualified. And I'm not technically qualified yet. Kind of smirked at her, and she started smirking. She goes, well, no, but you have signs out already. You have your signs up everywhere, so you're running, blah, blah, blah. And she said something like, this is only for regular people. And then as you walked away, I said, I'm a regular person, and I started pinching my arm, and that's when I kind of looked at you, Irvin, and smirked at you as she was walking off, and I said that. So then anyway, we continue on. So then I, of course, keep my hand back up. And finally, someone in the audience points to me that there's a question over here, because Danny Glover's up there with the microphone ignoring me.
Well, I know. And by the way, I do want to say this. That happened initially when, if you remember, Danny took the question from the black gentleman that was off to my right and off to your right. And then when he starts walking across the stage, he starts looking at the panel away from you. I felt that from the moment after that guy answered the question. That's when you interjected and said what you had to say.
Right. And what I was saying is my response was to the guy who brought up the building that says colored people still etched in the stone downtown. And my response was going to be, because they sort of asked, you know, what do you think we should do with that building?
Yeah.
Should we leave it as part of history, face the fact that it's a bad part of our history, but it's there, or should it be, you know, blasted over? Should it be gotten rid of, you know, put in a museum or whatever? You know. So my response was gonna be, and then I eventually just blurted it out without them even acknowledging it. At this point, they're ignoring me. So then what I was saying, I don't know if everybody heard me because Danny was still trying to talk over me. But I was saying was, you know, I think you just have to leave it and accept it's part of the history of this nation and of this city. Because my belief is once you start getting into things like that and start saying we got to take that down, then you start getting to a territory where you have to say, well, for that case, we need to start tearing down some of these old presidents' you know, famous houses. You know, then you're going to have to start saying, let's tear down Monticello, which was Thomas Jefferson's house.
Right. But here's the thing. I agree with the guy, though. I think it's insulting. And I also think that they could save it by taking it down and putting it inside, like in a museum. Well, they don't have to have it on display. I mean, this is the same thing that's going to happen with, you know, putting up the Confederate flag like Purdue did, wanting to put it up in the Capitol. The problem is it's like instigating once again. You know, like they get pissed off when they say, well, black people always bring up the racial issue and all that. It's okay for them to say that. Right? For them to be saying, oh, black people need to get over it and this and that. But yet they still have a sign that says separate, blacks only, or colored only, rather. Colored only sign above a terminal station. And when people say, well, take that down, oh, that's our history, that's the way it is. And they justify that shit, so I don't get it.
But I'm equal opportunity. I'm just as much for the black people to keep something up if they have something erected somewhere that others might think is a little bit, you know, racist or risque or a little bit, oh my God, shocking. I think it would be the same way. If it's a part of history, I would say leave it up. I don't care. I mean, if you wanted, if there was something up somewhere that was in honor of John Brown, you know, or Frederick Douglass, who a lot of people thought was a rabble-rouser, a troublemaker, right? People would say they were bad guys in some extent.
Of course, they hated Lincoln.
Right.
By the way, okay.
Hold on,
so
Urban,
wait, no, I wanted to get a little bit of the feel that happened when that woman or whoever said, "Look, you got a question here," when they were pointing to you.
Right. Well, basically, then I shouted out what I just said. I was trying to make the point that if you do that, you're on a slippery slope. You're going to have to start taking down other famous architectural pieces and monuments across the U.S. that had anything to do with offending any race, whether it's whites, blacks, Hispanics, whatever. And that's why I just think what it is we basically just have to accept that it was a bad time in our history. It happened, and that it's there. But it's like comparing it to just. I mean, we can look anywhere around this town, Irvin and Derek, at any time, and Ed. And I guarantee we could find fault in something almost on every piece of architecture now.
Oh, yeah.
And say that it's either racist or it's a problem or it says this or it speaks about, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and whine about stuff like that. And I don't even care if it's something that bad-mouthing the white race. If it was something in history that happened, so be it. It's part of history. But anyway, so going on. So I was trying to say that. Of course, I wasn't allowed to say. And then, of course, that's when I told you, Irvin, you better go. I think Derek's waiting for you. It's at 6:30. And that's when I leaned over and told you to leave. And then you left. And then I was sitting there a little longer, and I stayed there about 20 more minutes. I mean, I had to leave around 7 anyway. And I was 6:50. Well, I'm sitting there listening a little bit more to some people talking. And then finally I just get up, and I'm getting up, and I get up to walk out, and I've got my Remove Record Fire Sutton shirt on, and I'm just like getting up, walking out. And as I'm walking out to leave, Danny's on the microphone, and the last words I hear him say are, "Okay, we got anybody else out there? Any questions, any comments? Anybody? Come on, it's free to speak. Any of you can say something." And I turn around right when he said that, and I hit that door before I went out of the auditorium, and I turned around and I hollered real loud, and I said, "You're not letting anybody speak. I wanted to speak, and you wouldn't let me speak because I'm running for office." And his face just like, I'm looking way down at the stage, and his face has just got this dumbfounded look like, oh, hell, and he's still trying to talk over me, and I'm loud as hell.
I know.
And then I storm out, and then as I'm going to the hall, there's like 4 people hanging in the hallway over there, and they're looking back at me because they heard me really loud at the doorway say that. I look at them, and I'm like, oh, this is bullshit. I said, this isn't a community forum. There's nothing community about this. So then as I go out to get in my car, I'm walking, and I hear, hey, sir, come here, man, come here. And I turn around, it's the sheriff. It was the sheriff that was inside there, the black sheriff. And he goes, man, what are you doing, man? You can't just holler stuff out there. I said, sure I can. I said, I sat there and had something to say. They wouldn't let me say it. And I thought that was BS. And the sheriff didn't understand at first. He said, well, that's not how you do it, man. You don't just holler it through the room. And I said, you didn't see what happened. I said, I tried to raise my hand at first, and this lady came over, Gail Daniels, and told me I'm not allowed to speak. I said, I thought it was really hypocritical that we're sitting here on a forum about relations and healing and race, and this forum is predominantly put together by blacks, because the panelists were more blacks than whites, and they're doing the exact same thing that they've been fighting for decades and centuries against, which is silencing somebody, taking someone's rights from them, keeping them from being part of a process. I said, do they see the hypocrisy in this? There is a black race struggling for all this through years. People in their family have died for this struggle, and this guy's up there turning around and being the same communist, tyrannical type of person that his race was treated like for centuries. And so when I said that to the sheriff, he kind of laughed and agreed with me. He kind of nodded his head and went, yeah, well, that is kind of messed up, And he agreed with me. And I said, I'm sitting there just trying to say a point. They wouldn't let me. And he goes, well, that's not the way to do it, man. You're going to get yourself locked up. And I said, look, go lock me up. I said, I just beat the rap for being locked up for freedom of speech at the Cherry Blossom Festival. And the sheriff kind of got mad. He goes, well, maybe so, but it's not going to stop you from getting a ride down to the jailhouse. And I said, well, look, do what you got to do. I got to go. I had to leave anyway. I got to be in a play at Make Little Theater. I got to get there. And he goes, okay, man. And then he goes, well, what? He goes, well, what office you running for? And at this point, this one young white kid came out that was inside with some headset. He came out and was standing next and was listening to us talk. And he goes, well, what office you running for? The sheriff said that. And I said, Mayor, I'm a write-in. And he just kind of looked at the kid standing next to him, and they kind of chuckled at each other. And then as I walked off, I said, yeah, y'all vote for me. And then I'm walking to the car, and it was so funny, guys. I'm getting to the car, and right when I'm getting in my car, 2 Macon police cars come pulling up in front of the Grand Opera House. It's 2 police cars, right? And they see, one of the officers sees me get in the car, and he's watching me, and then the other one pulls up, and the other one stops, like right behind, on the middle of the street where I'm parked. And then I look at my rearview mirror, and the one cop's telling the other one, oh, he's right there getting in the car leaving. He's right there leaving. So the cop already knew who it was just by seeing me. And then, of course, I drove off, and they left me alone, and I went to the theater. So that was what happened in a nutshell.
Wow, so you think they called the police on you?
Oh, I know they did, because those police pulled up the minute I got in the car. But it was too late, because I'd already talked to the sheriff, and I was getting in. And then one cop saw me getting in the car, because he then was standing at the door of the other cop car that was just stopped in front of the Grand Opera House. And I was looking in the rearview mirror because I was parked on the side of the road to where I could see them behind me in the rearview mirror. And the one young white cop was like talking to the other one, and I saw him point towards the back of my car saying, oh, that's him, he's leaving. So I know they were called. Nobody inside called them, but of course the sheriff already had spoken to them because the sheriff was inside the event to begin with serving as security. And he was the one that kind of called in. He was cool. The sheriff guy was cool. We've already decided that most of the sheriffs are pretty cool.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, the sheriff's department is totally different than the police.
But that was it. That was in the nutshell. That was it. So then, I just said, well, I went to the theater, did my show, and then I got home last night, and I said, okay, I got to write my little piece about that community forum, and that's what I wrote.
I think you should tell that story about the police showing up.
Well, yeah,
because I think that's an abuse of trying to use the police as an abuse of power, don't you think?
Well, it could be, but I mean, they never did anything to me. They never even spoke to me. They didn't say, get out of the car, let me talk to you. I just saw them show up as I was leaving, And they didn't follow me or chase me or put any kind of lights on me, blue light me or anything. So it wasn't a big deal. But Molly McWilliams, she's now trying to email me now. She's private messaging me right now, and or she's kind of playing the fence, I think, here because. I responded to something she wrote before I called you guys this morning. I said something effective. I'll give you an A for effort, Molly, for what you tried to do, but I said that forum was a joke. And then she private messaged me back and said she had questions for me, bear with me. And then I wrote her back saying, I have to get back to you. I'm on the phone with the Morning Roast, and I'm talking about the forum. So she's waiting for me to respond to her. And I'll tell you one thing she said right now. She said, your statements about fresh blood are correct. She's regarding me saying fresh blood. Y'all want fresh blood to run? Well, here's the fresh blood.
Right.
Then she says, I really thought your running was like a publicity stunt or something. Now she's acting like, oh, everybody thinks that I'm not serious about running. But what the hell is that? Like I'm gonna waste money and spend money on making signs if I'm not serious about running. That doesn't make any sense.
Wow. Well, I guess you're gonna have to prove them wrong.
Well, I mean, I am. The signs are popping up slowly. The ad's already been put in the paper. I spent money on that, and I know what it is. They're waiting for those qualifying days. They're waiting to see me go into that office between July 22nd and 24th, when everybody goes to requalify. David will show up on his horse. I'll show up in my top hat or whatever. And
Mr. Monopoly Man.
Right. And then... yeah, I'll probably actually go in there holding like an iron, a thimble, a dog, and a car or something. But,
why the hell not?
That would be funny. But, no, I guess they're just waiting for me to technically really, really qualify, and then I get to know they got to take me serious. But that's fine,
Now, do you know about the candidates forum yesterday at City Hall?
No, I didn't even...
NAACP put it on.
Around about the same time as...
Well, that was the same one that Miss Westbrooks called me about, remember?
Right, but it was on at the same time as this.
Yeah. And
don't you think that's kind of somehow playing the public?
It might have been, but the thing about
that's a seafood platter move, right?
I had already told Westbrooks that if I showed up at that, I could only be there an hour anyway.
Yeah, but it smells very fishy because... they have this forum on which they want a lot of people to show up, and then less people would show up at this mayoral candidate stuff.
Right, or you can say it the other way around, is the reason no one really showed up at the forum, because remember the forum was pretty empty. There wasn't a lot of people at that forum.
Right, I know.
Maybe the reason that too is that the forum basically was stomped out by all these people instead going, do you know what the turnout was at the mayor candidate thing? You know what the turnout was?
It was, they say all 6. Like, they leave you out. You don't exist.
No, I'm talking about the turnout for the audience. Do you know how many people were there?
No, I don't. All I know is all 6 candidates, as they say, the qualified one. It was Jack Ellis, Rickett, Bishop, Kuzno, Allen.
Bishop and Sam Hart.
Right.
They all showed. And they were asked 10 questions. Once again, very communist, we're going to run the show, you keep your mouth shut.
And I bet it was boring as shit. And I probably would have gone to that, and I probably would have hollered there too, and I probably would have made fun of those people.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried about that because right now I'm doing this show, and I know that the Hairspray show is kind of like taking my time, and I can't really be involved in as far as the way I want right now. But this show is over Sunday, so once the show is over, my full attention is being put to this campaign, and I'm gonna bring that up too. Of all the candidates that I emailed personally and said I want to set up a debate mutually with all of you, only one has responded and said they're on board, and you know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
Who's no?
Wow.
Right.
Who's knows the only one to email me back. The other 5 have not. So I'm going to start blasting them online today and tomorrow and say, look, these people running for mayor are scared. They can't even sit down in a room with all the candidates. So I'm going to start giving them hell. But Kuzno, he responded to me, of course. I knew he would, but none of the others have. But I'm not concerned about it because, as you said, and I said, once I qualify, they can't ignore me. I will be officially qualified. And then I'm just going to blast. I'm going to constantly call the press and the Telegraph and the news media, the televised news media, and I'm going to be out there and I'm going to get involved in that stuff and I'm going to be a part of it. And if they try to have some kind of mayor forum before the election without me, I'll just go and show up, So, see, because Miss Westbrooks did tell me about the July 18th thing. Remember her? And I told you that how I got a call from her. And she told me about it, and I told her, I said, I can come, but I can only come for an hour because I got to go to the show. And then she never called me back to verify that it was happening. So I assumed that they just didn't have it on. But I still am glad I went to the forum that I went to because I would rather have been there since Angel Collins invited me to it and see how that went off the bat and get it out of my system because, they're trying to have those every month or two, and we already know they're a joke, and it's going to get around town that it's a joke, and those things are going to die quick. I guarantee those forums don't happen for much longer. They might have one more at the most, and then they stop doing them,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not going to last if it's run that way. It's not going to last. And the thing about it is, if what's true that you just told me about that meeting yesterday with the mayors, if they were only allowed to say what set questions there were, and they were only allowed to read from something, then I don't like that anyway. I want to go. That's why I want you guys to hold a debate with all of us, or whatever you want to call it, a forum, because I want the real questions. I don't want there with some preconceived questions. I want people to be able to stand up in the audience with a microphone and ask us the toughest questions in the world. I want them to ask us stuff without us having a rope-a-dope around it.
I mean, listen, we did it when my church started to implode back in, and DJ can attest to this because he was around.
Right.
When my church started to implode in New York City, we had a big forum where they lined us up on each side, and we were going in there like blasting away our honest opinion question. Right. They allowed us to do that. And I'll never forget that. I was, of course, up there as well. And people were really concerned about what was going on in our church, and they were allowed to speak. I can't imagine why, once again, here they are trying to attempt a public forum, but yet it is controlled by a few.
Right.
Once again, the agenda and the questions asked and all that, and the way they're asked and all that are very much in control. Although, they didn't really ask us the question prior to that. But if you notice, Danny was asking the question, which was soliciting a specific answer. It wasn't like, you tell us what the hell are you thinking. And then the person could speak whatever the hell they want to speak. It was like, here's a question. Blah, 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 blah. What do you say to that? And so then they go up there. Now they're fed, subliminally a question.
Right.
And you're only going to answer that question, which you, of course, did not follow the protocol, which is why you made a scene.
Well, look, let me interject this. I just got a message here from David Dorr. David Dorr, the lawyer that was up there on the panel, the white guy with the beard, Irvin?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he just wrote me. He just responded to what I wrote on Facebook. He wrote, you were running for political office. You shouldn't have used it you should have used it as an opportunity to listen to your potential constituency instead of lashing out irrationally and yelling at the moderator. Your behavior was a joke, especially from a full-grown adult. If you want to pat yourself on the back for storming out of a forum because you weren't allowed to pontificate a platform, go right ahead.
Wow.
I'm about to respond to them. But yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, I mean, let's face it for what it is. Those are a bunch of young guys and gals around here that are so badly wanting to be in the media, wanting to be recognized, wanting to be looked at like they're doing something important, like they're making a difference, when in fact, it's not any of that. It's just, hey, everybody show up and listen to me, meaning them, talk for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
That's all they
Meanwhile,
want.
the place was almost empty. And the other thing is, if you notice, they were all like B actors in a play.
Yeah.
Trying to run like, Gone with the Wind. If you notice, from Gail Daniels on down, all of these people are like B actors. They're not really big players. Paul Bronson, all these people.
Right.
Danny Glover, all of them. I mean, there was not like the big powerhouses there. There wasn't a Liz Fabian. There wasn't a Charlie B. There wasn't the people in the media that mattered.
Right.
There. I mean, it was mostly like whatever. Mix in the morning. What the hell is that?
Right. Well, I had Alex Webb email me last night or this morning. I just saw his email about an hour ago. Alex Webb, half owner of the Downtown Club, and he said the same kind of thing. He said Paul Bronson should not have been even allowed to be up there on the stage. He said,
well, that was a glaring hypocrisy. That right there. Right. Anybody in politics is not allowed to speak, and meanwhile Paul Bronson is up on stage.
Right.
What the hell is that all about? The other thing is, I wanted to make mention, Daryl Jackson just updated and shared your post.
Awesome.
So, you got him on your side at least.
Yeah.
See, and he didn't even show.
Right.
You notice that? He didn't show.
Oh, I know.
Because he knows who the players are.
Yeah.
And I appreciate everything that Holly did and, all those guys are trying to do. But you're not going to have much of an impact, as they call it, if you're not going to allow freedom of speech and allow this forum. Everybody's afraid that people are going to start yelling and screaming and all that. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with allowing that? Nobody's going to get out with a gun and shoot somebody. They're going to shoot their mouth, maybe. But I don't understand what the hell the whole dynamic is. Why they're so afraid to be confronted. Is it because they're afraid of being humiliated? Why do you think that is, Anthony?
I think because I think it's all because they want to stay on everyone's good side around here that they think will do something for them. It's that whole scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. If you notice, the same old people, the same old young, up-and-coming people are always getting these jobs around here within these city structures, right?
Yeah.
And it's those same people that are kissing ass. It's those same people that'll go around town and talk about how great Macon is all the time. They won't say one bad thing about Macon. And a lot of these people are my friends, but I'll name them. I mean, I'll name the people. It's people like Molly McWilliams, who is working for the city underneath one of their other little branches, right? She's working the Gateway stuff and all that, or Newtown.
Yeah.
Angel Collins is another one. I love Angel Collins, but she's the same way. She works for Gateway Macon. So of course they're paying her paycheck. So she's going to go around and she's going to speak soft. She's not going to badmouth anything because she doesn't want to lose her job. And to me, that's just bogus because you know what? You're not being true to yourself. If you can't have an opinion and if you cannot freely state that opinion, no matter whether you work for the city or not, then what's the sense in living and being a human being? I mean, that's why I just couldn't believe how communistic that forum felt last night.
Well, here's the thing, and I'll take Lee. Lee is the guy that I met at the commissioners' meeting when I went to blast the commissioners about my dog. And he is the guy that formulates and has to deal with the streets and the trees and what's allowable, what's not allowable, and he's an advocate for that. And he said to me that Macon is going to become two cities. He said, you think consolidation is going to work? I don't think so. there's going to be an area called North Macon. And that area is going to be a city of its own, because the people in the county can't stand the city politics. And when you think about this, Anthony, you know, and DJ remembers this. He just mentioned it, that he remembers the implosion of our church. Our church was 250,000 people worldwide. 250,000. And that grew in less than 5 years. Within 5 years, we went from like 50,000 worldwide to 250,000. Just because you see Macon kind of growing a little bit doesn't mean that it's a good thing. Right. It doesn't mean automatically, oh, it's growing, that's great. No, you're going to have growth, you're going to have problems. You got to go out and, it's just like a child that's growing up. You know, as he grows, you got to buy him new shirts, you got to buy him new books, you got to buy him new sneakers, you got to buy him new socks, because what was past no longer fits. It's the same here in Macon. Right. You cannot go by the status quo politics that they're trying to instigate now that we have consolidation. When you have situations like we have here, where they're constantly trying to control the agenda, constantly trying to muzzle the public, constantly trying to make those of us that speak out look like outcasts from Gilligan's Island. Right. We're not on some island. They're not going to get rid of us. I'm not going anywhere, neither are you, God willing. None of us are going anywhere. And if nothing else, they ought to be looking at examples like us and speaking out instead of being a bunch of brown noses that they are. Right. You see, and that's the problem, man. The problem is everybody's all gung-ho, oh, good, this is great, consolidation is going to help out. I don't think so. I think it's going to make it worse in many ways. Worse. Because it's going to be, it's like the Republican Party says, oh, less government. Yeah, so you can have more power. It's right. More power in one person's hands than it was before.
Right.
I mean, you know, you have politicians that already have a lot of power, and all they are is city council people. Now they're going to be the county people. Right. They're going to be like gods walking around with a small G, thinking they're all that. Look at what's happening now with the commission. Well, they have this all-kill shelter going on, and they completely ignore what happened to me and other people. And instead, they give letters of recommendation to their employees. And they're hiring, by the way, people in jail, people that are in jail. And I'm just wondering if there's a kickback going on there. Well, you know, who's paying these inmates? Are they getting paid? Or is somebody getting a kickback or some sort of a program? You know the inmates are also mowing the lawns on the properties that we're supposed to be getting paid to do in Macon. The properties that are owned by the city have to be maintained. You know how they maintain them? They're maintaining them with inmates. I'm wondering the money that they get for maintaining these properties, where is that money going if they're not giving it to the inmates? There's a lot of stuff going on here, Anthony, that I'm aware of, but that a lot of people are not going to talk about.
Right, I agree.
You know, but I'm going to confront the sheriff with this. I'm going to say, you're the sheriff. If people are stealing from our government like they are, Mr. Sheriff, you have to be the one to police that. You have to be the one to get in there as an elected official. Not only that, as our top cop, you have to be exposing this stuff and making sure that people go to jail for this stuff.
Right.
Because they paid Miss Sarah Tenen. She used the grant inappropriately. They gave her an SUV out of a company that was not the lowest bidder outside of Macon. They're hiring inmates for that shelter, and one of them killed animals. He had to quit, and she rehired him. And all of this, Mr. Layson and Mr. Lonzie Edwards are allowing to happen. And I think all of them. And here's the thing, even Joe Allen, God bless him, but he knows a lot about this stuff, and I noticed that he hasn't said word to me ever since I started exposing it on Facebook.
Right.
And never used his name. But I haven't gotten a call from him since. because he was part of the problem. He's the one that gave the heads up, according to the rescue workers, when they said this guy killed a puppy, and the people there saw him, and then they fired him. They put him in jail, basically, and then they fired him, and now he's rehired. And Joe Allen is the one that gave him the heads up.
Right.
To the commissioners. Saying, look, they're saying this and that, and that's why they won't allow the rescue workers to go and volunteer. Because they don't want them to know the underhanded shit that goes on in that shelter. They don't want people around what the commissioners allowed to happen. They don't want it exposed.
Right.
You see?
Yeah, you're right.
And this is the stuff that I'm going to continue to talk about, whether it's on this show or in public, that there is a lot of cronyism and a lot of corruption.
Right.
Not only in the city council, which I believe some of it is,
right,
but even worse with the commissions. Even worse.
You're right.
And now all of these people are running for commissioner, and all these little gods with the small g are now going to be in power and empowered to do even more damage to our city. And now all these billions of dollars, or millions rather, coming out of SPLOST and all this money that's going to be thrown around. Don't you think that some of these people are going to give themselves a nice paycheck somewhere underhanded?
Of course.
Just like they did with the shelter, where they used the PetSmart grant and gave it to Denards, or tried to, and then they had to pull $6,000 out of some other fund and pay Denards, the other animal vet, outside what PetSmart had given them. And then they're fixing these dogs that are not even adopted, and then after they fix the dogs and they pay the vet and they do all of that, they euthanize them anyway.
Right.
So all they're doing is giving folks money for stuff that they know is going to go either into a furnace and get them killed, or into that pond in the back where the alligators feed. And God only knows if they're feeding the alligators those dead dogs.
Yeah, I hear.
But there's alligators back there,
Yeah, I heard somebody else told me that too.
Yeah.
You want to hear my response to David Doerr that I'm about to press send?
Go ahead.
My response? Okay, my response to that lawyer, David Doerr, that was just up there on the panel yesterday, that just said to me, he said to me, once again, you're running for political office, you shouldn't have used it as an opportunity to listen. You should have used it as an opportunity to listen to your potential constituency instead of lashing out irrationally and yelling at the moderator. Your behavior was a joke, especially from a grown adult. But if you want to pat yourself in the back for storming out of a forum because you weren't allowed to pontificate a platform, go right ahead. I responded, you are a lawyer. What you say is irrelevant. That forum was a joke. Look at the hypocrisy. Paul Bronson, an organizer of the forum and political candidate, is sitting on stage facing the audience. If that's not political grandstanding, I don't know what is. You and your ilk can't have it both ways. You can't ask for an overhaul of this city and then play into the same old bullshit that's tearing up this city. If anyone's patting themselves on the back, it is those that continually want to act as if they are of some importance in this city. You, Danny Glover, Gail Daniels, Molly McWilliams, Paul Bronson, etc. In closing, I'm a free citizen and have the right to speak just as much as any other person does. I will always practice that.
There you go.
There you go.
Well said. Well said. By the way, Kettle Corn, one of our chatters and viewers, Kettle, says cronyism equals the appointment of friends and associates to positions of authority without proper regard to their qualification. When you think about this, okay, and not to say anything, but they never picked me to be on the boards because of my so-called jail time. But meanwhile, they have a guy who just said that he was not guilty on marijuana charges, then goes before the court and pleads guilty. And nobody says anything.
Right.
Nobody says a damn thing about it.
Right.
Because he's such a nice guy. And he's such a sweet boy.
Yeah.
You know what?
Bless
First of all, he's not a boy, he's a man. And secondly, he said that he didn't use it, but I would say otherwise.
Right.
I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been around those guys. I know exactly what goes on.
Yeah.
And all they needed was me as a witness, and I would have blabbed my mouth right out.
That's right.
But, he did the smart thing and plead guilty and just pay the fine and shut the hell up. Because if he would have went to trial,
right,
it would have been a bad deal. Right. I would have been the genteel of that trial.
Right.
Tell the truth. But, I'm telling you, brother, this is the way it's going to be. But we're always going to be, the thorn in their side. I mean, I don't care. I think we just have to continue to do what we're doing.
That's right, buddy.
And I think we got a lot more people on our side than you think, but they're afraid to speak out.
Right.
Just like everything else.
Right. Right.
I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know. All I know is that I'll make comment on your comment, and you got guys like Daryl Jackson that's putting your posts out.
Right.
So obviously there's guys like him that are still, and he's good friends with Ellis.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't have a problem. I'm always getting it out there because when I write something, me, I just share it with everybody on this.
You got my wall. You can put it on my wall. It's still sitting on my wall.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with just sharing it with like 300 people on this list here. So I send it to all of them unless they tell me they don't want it. I have a do not share list, and if you tell me you don't want my stuff on there, I will respect you and I write your name down. And I think right now that list only has about 9 people on it.
Wow.
That list includes Angelina Alvarez from Roasted. She doesn't want me to put on her site. Paul Bronson gave me a private message about 2 weeks ago saying he didn't want me to put on his site. Alan Walden, he's on the do not share list.
Yeah.
Lindsay Lou, a couple others.
Well, instead of telling you, they should just put up the wall like I did. I mean, I don't know why they have to even tell you. Just, learn how to use your Facebook.
Right.
And people can't post shit on your Facebook if you know how to use it.
Right.
Stop trying to be on a medium that you don't even know how to control.
And if you don't know how to use it, ask somebody that knows.
Exactly. I mean, why do you have to say it? You don't have to say shit. Just get on Facebook and change the privacy.
Yeah.
Only friends. All right, buddy.
I'll talk to you later. You
Thanks, Sam.
This weekend?
Great segment. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Keep it up.
You coming out this weekend?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Well, call me later.
All right. Well, I'll be out tonight because myself and some of the cast members of Hairspray, we'd already decided yesterday after the show tonight we're going downtown.
Oh, am I invited?
Yeah, but I mean I can't pick you up. You're invited if you can get a ride.
Okay. I'll work it out.
I think we're gonna go to BJ's. I think everybody wants to sit in BJ's.
Oh, that's great. Let's do BJ.
Right. Okay.
I'll find a way. I can actually walk to BJ. That's not so bad.
All right. Be careful.
All right, buddy. I'll see you later.
You'll be doing BJ's?
Bye.
Break time!
Yes.
Make
Definitely
it quick.
break time. It's 10:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Thank Anthony, aka Tower of London, for the call. It's 74 degrees outside of Macon, Georgia right now. It's sunny and 74 with a high of 91 and a low of 73. You're watching the Morning Roast live from the Nut House, the Dog House, somewhere in Macon, Georgia. We'll be right
Sorry
back.
for the Martin family, man, but this was a case that could never be proved.
Matt, that's not true, Matt. This man was told, stay in the vehicle, do not pursue. This man said on the tape before he ever approached Trayvon Martin, effing punks, using profane language, referring to him as a thug, saying they always
That's
get
not a
away
crime,
with it.
Juanel.
But his
That's not a
mindset,
crime.
but he had a predisposed mindset that Trayvon Martin was committing a crime and a criminal and had no right to belong in that neighborhood.
Proven. The FBI even said he wasn't
No, he
racist.
said it on
You're
tape.
just upset, Quanell, because
he said
you
it
didn't
on
get
tape.
the verdict that you were looking for.
No, we are sick and tired of young African American men being murdered
neighborhood.
White
What
people
about the
kill
black on
white
black
people
crime?
kill
Why
white
don't
people
you
in
do
America
something
too.
about that first?
We do it all the time, but
No,
you
you
all
don't.
get away
No,
with
it's
it.
only when
You
white
get away
people
with
kill
it.
black
You get away with it.
Oh my
She's
God.
stupid, Larry. To black people.
Trayvon Martin's parents breaking their silence this morning, speaking out for the first time since George Zimmerman was found not guilty of murdering their son. I want to bring in Daryl Parks, attorney for Trayvon Martin's family, to talk a little bit more about all this. So, Mr. Parks, let's first listen to a little bit of some of the interview that both Sabrina and Tracy did. Let's listen to CBS this morning. And they were asked just their initial reaction of the trial and the verdict as they're speaking out for the first time. Let's take a listen.
I want the American to know that Trayvon was a fun-loving child. He was our child. We miss him dearly.
I was in a bit of shock. I thought surely that he would be found guilty of second-degree murder, manslaughter at the least, but I just knew that they would see that this was a teenager just trying to get home. This was no burglar. This was somebody's son that was trying to get home.
Now, we know that it's clearly very painful for them still, and also that they were not in the courtroom when the verdict was read. So why do they want to speak out now? What do they want to say?
Well, I think, first of all, you have to realize that they went through 4 weeks of trial in this situation. They were extremely tired. They had heard that 911 tape shot after shot. And then in closing, as Sabrina was sitting next to me, she saw that picture of his face. She hadn't seen that picture. It's also the same picture that Tracy Martin used to identify Trayvon. So they were extremely tired. And so it was a long, long road, that trial.
And it will be a long road ahead, but why do they feel there's a misconception out there of their son, or their son is misunderstood throughout the trial? Why come forward and why talk about it? I mean, they put out some very touching statements right after the verdict, but what do they want people to know now?
Well, it's rather clear. It's just the one juror who has spoken out. They didn't know Trayvon, so maybe Trayvon's human aspect in the course of the case didn't come out quite as much. As you listen to that juror, she talks very deeply about George Zimmerman and humanizes George Zimmerman, when in this case, Trayvon was the victim in here.
And one thing that we heard from them in their tweets and speaking out on social media right after the verdict is that they both called for peace and calm in the aftermath. Have you spoken to them? What are they saying about the response that's been out there? There's been protests, a lot of support for them, but there also have been some clashes with police and some arrests. So are they disappointed in that?
Well, let's be very clear. From the time we first spoke out right after the verdict, we called for peace and calm on their behalf as the legal team. So that maintains, and they don't want Trayvon's legacy to be tainted by violence. So anyone who would go out and do any type of violence whatsoever, I mean, they should even kick over a garbage can. To maintain Trayvon's dignity is what we expect.
You guys ready?
Yes.
All right, we're back.
We're definitely back. Definitely back.
We're back at the Morning Roast at 10:05, and what's the weather now?
It's 78. It's getting hotter. 78 and sunny in Macon, Georgia, with a high of 91 and a low of 73 degrees.
Wow. Well, in New York, Kettle Corn says it's already over 90 degrees. New York is dealing with a heat wave. By the way, DJ Mean, could you put that link on to the main chat? That way people could see it, but also we could put it up because it's in my private message. But Ed can't get to it. He can't.
Yeah, I'm not going to look in Irv's privates.
Yeah, he's not going to look at my privates. Yeah, so
yes.
That's something that we make sure we don't do. But yeah, same here. Believe me. But anyway, let me see. Well, Peque, when you roll with a pack of racists, it doesn't matter what nationality you are. Okay. Whatever.
The South is never going to end the racism.
Let me see. My dogs don't cry. Zimmerman is
culture.
free. I'm not losing sleep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I want to welcome back all the chatters. We got a whole bunch of them today. Welcome Saibuki, one of our old favorites from London, England, or somewhere in England. Saibuki's a great old friend of ours. Good to have you back. DJ Mean, one of my best friends for over 20 years now.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost funny to call him a friend. He's like my brother.
Yeah.
You know, well, he is my brother. But anyway, DJ Mean. We got D's Nuts for You. Go King. Good Time Radio. Oh, what are you doing here? Harry Cooter. Jim Crow is here. That's great. Good to have you, Jim Crow. We have it here too.
Yes.
We have remnants of you here. Johnny. Nickel 3000. Paquet 90. What's Paquet? Isn't that something you eat?
Yeah.
Paquet 90.
When you don't have butter.
Yeah. Sergio St. James. We got too much. We got Zappa 1, Gap 127, Gemmint 1 of 1, Hydroponic, Kettlecorn from, I guess, from New York. My Dogs Don't Cry. Three Bears is here. Oh my God! Welcome back, the Three Bears. Three
How
Bears.
you doing, Three Bears?
We still got your thing up, baby.
We still have it hanging.
We have it hanging. We still got it hanging out there, you know. We haven't zipped it out. And, of course, our good folks, Tower of London.
Thank you.
Thank you all
Thank
for
you
being here. It's good to have some of the old timers on here. The Three Bears and the where's LA Macon? He ran out? Is LA Macon still here?
He was for a while.
I guess he.
Because we were going back.
I guess
we were going back and forth with some stuff, and
I guess he didn't agree.
He didn't agree because he said, "Well, Trayvon Martin was no angel." Yeah, and I said, "Well, George Zimmerman was no Jack Webb." So
that's true. Mm-hmm. That's true. Well, anyway, welcome all, welcome back, and we're gonna keep this thing going. What else do we have in the news, Derek, besides all racial crap and
yesterday, we didn't get a chance to talk about it yesterday, but South Africans celebrated the 95th birthday of their former president, Nelson Mandela.
You see, and they thought that by this time they would have him 6 feet under, but that boy is still going.
That gentleman, yes.
See what happens when you live in the South?
Yeah, see, because
of
that programming. And other news, some other entertainment. What is that?
Wow.
You got a bug problems? Well, yesterday, also that happening recently, there were the nominations for the 2013 Primetime Emmy Awards, and the single most lauded program was FX's Gothic miniseries American Horror Story Asylum with 17 nods. 17 nominations, including for miniseries, movie, and lead actress for Jessica Lange's. HBO Gang of Thrones garnered 16 nominations, the most for any drama series, which people watch through Netflix, which I'm kind of surprised. Netflix is, basically, online stuff where you rent movies and stuff. You can actually watch TV shows. They have original programming, an online website that has Emmy nominations. I mean,
and you got to pay for it.
Yeah.
And half of these shows aren't worth a dime to watch.
True. So I'm just saying,
that's worse than playing lotto.
So when is Vaughn Live or any going to get a Emmy nod for us for the morning roast for best daytime show, daytime news program? I know we should be getting more. We should be getting more nominated. I mean, if today is getting nominated, we should be nominated as well. I mean, because they're sucking right now.
Yeah.
Next to Good Morning America at CBS and Fox and Friends, but that's a whole other story altogether. Speaking of which, altogether HBO has pulled in 108 nods, 27 more than last year. In second place was CBS and NBC, tying with 53 nominations apiece. For the list of the best drama nominated for best drama series is Breaking Bad for AMC, Downtown Abbey for PBS, Game of Thrones for HBO, Homeland for Showtime, House of Cards for Netflix of all places. Like I said, House of Cards is not even real. I mean, you can't get that on regular TV.
Cards, you know what happens to them?
Mm-hmm.
When you blow on them,
yeah,
they fall down.
Yes, they do.
It's gonna fall down like a house of cards. What is that show all about?
Yeah, well, I know.
Like, who cares?
I don't think it has anything to do with poker. That's for sure. And also rounding out the top, the sixth nomination for Best Drama Series is definitely the last year's champion, Mad Men, from AMC.
Yeah.
For actor in a drama, a lead actor, I should say, is Hugh Bonneville for Downton Abbey. Bryan Cranston, who has won twice before in Breaking Bad. Jeff Daniels in The Newsroom, that you have a problem with. John Hamm for Mad Men. Damian Lewis for Homeland. Kevin Spacey for House of Cards. Best Actress in a Drama, Claire Danes for Homeland. Vera Farmiga from Bates Motel. Michelle Docker for Downton Abbey. Robin Wright for House of Cards. Elizabeth Moss for Mad Men. Connie Britton for Nashville. And Kerry Washington, I think, received her first nomination for Scandal. First nomination for Scandal. Writing for Best Writing, you have George Monsters for Breaking Bad, Thomas Schnauz for Breaking Bad, Julian Fellows for Downton Abbey, David Benoff and D.B. Watts for Game of Thrones, and Henry Brommel for Homeland. Best Directing for a Drama, Tim Van Patten for Boardwalk Empire, Michelle McLaren for Breaking Bad, Jeremy Webb for Downton Abbey, Leslie Lynn Glatter for Homeland, David Fincher for House of Cards. There's a good stuff here, really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
For Best Comedy Series is some new stuff and some old. The Big Bang Theory from CBS, Girls for HBO, Louie from FX, Modern Family, last year's winner, and this defending champion from ABC, 30 Rock from NBC, and this was their final season earlier this year, and Veep on HBO.
There you have it.
Yes,
shows aren't worth a dime to watch. You know, I used to love watching sitcom, right, when I was younger. Happy Days, and I never liked The Cosby Show. I always thought that was...
Why? You didn't like The Cosby Show?
Well, yeah, exactly. Not only that, but Felicia Rashad had just married that football player, and then while the show was going on, they're getting a divorce, and I just thought, people are, And by the way, I knew Elvin, the son-in-law. I think DJ also knows him, DJ Me. Meanwhile, he didn't have like the biggest part in the show, but he was probably the best guy there.
Right.
Like the best actor. This kid is brilliant. They just never really allowed him to grow in that part.
Well, see, that's the thing that I had a problem with The Cosby Show. See, that show pretty much started the trend of the stupid dad. The stupid dad in the show, where the guy is the dad is a total moron.
Yeah.
And basically he's
wasn't he supposed to be smart dad?
Well, yeah, he's a smart dad. Well, as far as his job,
smart ass dad.
No, that would be Al Bundy from Married with Children.
That's true.
But see, that started a trend of the stupid dumb dad. Where he's good at his job. But outside of his job, he's supposedly a total moron, and his son's a moron because he takes it from his dad, of course. Yeah. That's why I always had a problem. That was one of the things I had a problem with The Cosby Show. And plus, they had that unwritten rule, especially with the stupid dad and the stupid son. Like when basically the unwritten rule is when all else fails, blame Theo.
Right.
Which basically, if something bad happened, they always have to blame the son. That's why they had that special episode of Theo and the Joint, where someone planted a joint in Theo's backpack or notebook, and he was just tripping out like, "Hey, I didn't do this. I didn't do this." Look,
by the way, isn't that happening like with Tyler Perry flicks?
What?
Where he's putting up like stupid dads and all that on his television shows. And then the mothers are the ones filled with wisdom and understanding.
Well, yeah,
and,
that
and
goes
the fathers
back. Yeah,
are jovial morons.
Yeah, that's
Isn't that what's happening?
True. That's definitely
House of
true.
Pain, which is painful to watch. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
Right. And what's the other one? Three Clowns in a Room.
Meet the Browns.
Yeah, Meet the Browns. Meet the Clown.
I'm Leroy Brown. People call me Leroy Brown.
Yeah. Like, who cares?
Oh, speaking of which, I forgot in the Emmy nominations, Michael Douglas and Matt Damon were both nominated for Best Actor in a miniseries, a movie from the movie Behind the Candelabra, the story of Liberace. And
he did not look like Liberace until he was up on stage.
Yes.
But when you had a close-up of Michael Douglas, it was Michael Douglas in a wig.
Yes. And, well, the other nominees were Toby Jones and The Girl.
Great acting, by the way.
Benedict Cumberbatch was also nominated for Best Actor in a Miniseries or Movie, Parade's End. And the last one who was in the category, Al Pacino, in the title character of Phil Spector. Those who knew about Phil Spector, he's a big time music producer. He produced, I think he was one of the producers of the Beatles' last album, Let It Be, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're all out of order.
Yeah. There's music everywhere. Hooah!
Who are you trying to imitate?
That's
Al
Al Pacino.
Oh. Work on that one.
Okay.
No, it sounds good. I want to hear you say Al Pacino here, Ed.
Say about my little friend here.
It's a pega don a
That wasn't
flastra.
bad.
You want to come to me, man? You want to come to me?
You're out of order. You're out of order. This whole trial is out of order.
I'm not standing. I'm still sitting. I'm still sitting, man. I need to stand up and get some best search.
Tell me it was in sanitation.
Yeah. He did a horrible job, I think, in that Scarface. That was not a Spanish accent. That sounded like Mayor Koch when he tried to talk Spanish to the public. It was awful. I mean, he was ruthless, but that didn't sound like a Cuban or whatever the hell it was accent. It didn't sound Spanish at all. It sounded like a mix of Italian, Spanish, and something else. Like wannabe Spanish.
So, oh man, talk about some stuff. Sergio St. James must have hit a nerve in here. It's like, yeah, good time. So, like,
Can you guys actually read the chat?
F. Tyler Perry. He says F. Tyler Perry. The reason I hated this, he said that, yeah, it's about the movie, it was a TV show. He said, the reason why I hated the show, I guess because there weren't real black scenarios of black people in Brooklyn. And Tubby Doo says, Cosby has good moral values, but it was a racist show. How is that racist? It always showed white people as idiots or crooks.
It does have a tinge of racism.
Actually,
remember, it's Southern humor.
Actually, that well, you're talking about the Cosby Show.
Well, I'm talking. Oh well, and I'm talking about Tyler Perry.
Now, Family Matters. It definitely was. I guess would be considered racist because all the burglars and all the bank robbers were white. That's true. That was true.
But even in Tyler Perry, like. When Mama, whatever her name is,
Medea,
Medea like beats the girls and beats people up and all that.
Well, she beats everybody up.
In some,
they try to give wisdom, like, woman, please follow your own.
Some circles, it's called child abuse.
Okay.
The way she hits that girl in the movie, and I don't know, it's Southern comedy. He
does hit it. He does hit the point though. Sergio St. James says all Tyler Perry movies are the same. Black should be offended by that idiot and not hold him up. There's like all of them are saying if you're successful and black, you're the bad guy. If you're light skinned and white, you're a bad guy.
That's true.
Well, unless you're falling in love with the woman of the protagonist female who's married to the educated black husband and stuff. If you're unsuccessful, you're the good guy. Yeah, that is true. Like,
Tubi Dude, you probably haven't seen it. He says, really? Not from what I've seen. Well, what have you seen? Because he's absolutely on point with that one. If you're fat and black with a house full of fatherless kids, you're a good guy. There you go.
Yeah.
If you're unsuccessful, you're a good guy.
Yeah, but if you're educated, you're a bad guy. That's one thing I had. That was the one thing that I had problem with Diary of a Mad Black Woman and Medea's family values. Because if you ever seen it, like the woman had the wife of a predominant black guy. She's educated. She has more degrees than a freaking thermometer, And then her husband is just is rich and successful as she is. Has just as much of education or more as she is, or maybe more, which for some reason that's supposed to be bad. Like a black guy that's educated, man, that's hey, we can't have that. That's ridiculous. I mean,
DJ, did it sound
just keep
Spanish
them dumb and
to you?
sagging?
Yeah, yeah. Did it sound Spanish to you? Honestly, Al Pacino and Scarface. I mean, it didn't to me. It did not. It sounded like a guy trying to sound Spanish, but sounding more like a guy trying to sound Spanish. It did not sound like a Spanish authentic guy. Like if you're gonna take him and you're gonna take like an Anthony.
An Anthony?
No, not Anthony. The singer that was married to
Mark Anthony.
Mark Anthony.
Yes.
If you're gonna take a Mark Anthony and give him the role of Scarface, he'll probably do a hell of a lot better job than Al Pacino in his accent.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. You know, that's all I'm saying. All shows have a tinge of racism. You're right. Good time. And sexual innuendos. And what else is in there? Racism, sexual innuendos, the jovial, happy-go-lucky, stupid ass that always shows up, right? Just like they do in the Disney films, right? You always have the goofball, you know, turtle or whatever they have. They pick out, it's the same regurgitated garbage over and over again with different characters. But then you still have the same jovial, dumb character that makes everybody laugh with his comments or his antics. Right?
Definitely.
Same thing with shows, right?
Right.
They have the cool guy like Fonzie, or they have the nice guy like
Richie Cunningham.
Or they have the funny guy, the stupid guy like Ralph Mouth. Remember that?
Right.
Or they have the one that's up and coming, the singer like the other guy.
Bieber?
Whatever his name was. Exactly. Or they have Tinky Winky. And the Teletubbies.
My goodness.
You know. The gay guy shows
Which
up.
one
Or,
are you, Irv?
unbelievable.
Which Teletubby?
I'm all of them. I'm a tinkle twinkle little star. How wonderful am I are. Yeah. Anyway.
You guys got daily bread to do.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm serious. I mean, they have all the same cast of characters, just redressed up in different things.
I see that.
Okay, I wrote that earlier, Irv. Okay, I'm sorry. All right. Okay. Oiving. That's hydroponic. They actually call me that a lot in New York. I would like to do a show with you guys one morning. I've been making 2 times a week. Great. Come on in, Sergio. Love to have you. We always invite our guests to come on anytime. And
but we got no food.
Exactly.
Yeah, no food. Yeah.
And I don't know if we have stand your ground laws, but we can certainly protect ourselves here at home.
No cigars.
Yeah.
No cigars.
Well.
Can't take those cigars.
Anyway, what else? Yeah, you're more than welcome to do that, Sergio. You can inbox me on our Facebook page at The Morning Roast or Irving Martinez at Facebook. Just inbox me your phone so we can chit-chat on the phone and I can hear your voice and you don't sound like Zimmer. All right. You know what else? He did better in Carlito's Way. You're right. He did do better in Carlito's Way because he brushed up on it.
Well, yeah.
But he was terrible in, as far as I'm concerned, in Scarface.
But still, this is a movie. It's an iconic movie for last 30 years.
Yeah, John Travolta's got a new movie.
Yeah.
You heard about that?
What?
I forgot.
Yeah, John Travolta.
John Travolta.
John Travolta. Damn it, I think the name of it.
Well, as you're thinking about that, I'll read the chat. It's Tubi Dude says, sounds like Tyler is saying that if you strive to better yourselves and be successful, then you are a traitor to your race. What does that say about him? I don't know if that's true, but it does. If you look at his humor and you live in the South, you'll understand it and laugh at it. But when you're born in the North like me, I find it almost appalling that he's allowed to even do half the shit that he's doing. I'll be honest. I mean, like Medea beating the girl up. I mean, and it's supposed to be funny. Like everybody laughs. And even yesterday, did you not notice that when the women were in that meeting, the battered women in the meeting were talking, and it was supposed to be a serious moment? You got people in the audience laughing, while the woman's crying. You remember that?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was funny.
Well, it wasn't funny at all. But I think it was really funny. Funny, strange, I should say. that you realize that the dark-skinned woman that was cast as aunt, the wife's sister, you know, she was like, you know, she was the badass. I mean, I wish you would. I'll bust a cap in his ass. You know.
Yeah.
You know, it's you know, stereotypical.
Yeah, she was the jovial one.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least she wasn't fat though. You know.
Right. Well, she had a fat rear end.
Well, yeah.
But
there goes us.
Especially in public.
But you know.
But yeah.
But I see what you mean, and that's why I kind of agree with Tubby Dude, where he was basically saying, you know, it's you know, if you try to strive, you know, you're straight to your race, because, which I hope he's not saying, I hope he doesn't believe that you're a sellout if you're trying to improve yourself. But I guess he's basically trying to say that there's a fear in a certain section of African American community that if you try to do better, you're trying to be white, or for some strange reason, or if you're progressing too much, you know, you're just asking for trouble. You're just waiting for the bottom to fall out before you just, you know, go to pieces. And I really kind of hate that type of mentality. That's going to get anybody of any ethnic group nowhere.
Yeah.
Because I know people always say to me, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. But I mean, that's a good idea. But when it comes to the black community, you can't make lemonade out of 50, 60-year-old lemons. It's time to go Kroger and build, you know, and start growing some more lemons.
Or buy some of that powdered stuff. Works.
Cool.
Anyway, wait a minute. DJ, that whole video was about Mark Anthony. He got ranted because he sang the national anthem. We'll play that as soon as Ed gets it up, if he ever gets it up.
The song,
the song. That's what I meant. Oh, by the way. All right. St. James says Tyler Perry should be tarred and feathered. And yeah, by the way, there's no food here. If you want to bring it, you can bring the food. We don't feed our guests. They have to come in with a fat belly, all right? Like we always do. Although, in good times, I may feed you, but not this time. Unless you come after the 3rd. Let me see. Yesterday was Al Pacino. Today is Mark Anthony. Okay, why not? Three Bears, good time now. You know why Celia Gomez left him. She was tired of being his mother. Selena Gomez.
Oh, you talking about Justin Bieber? Leaving
Justin
Selena
Bieber.
Gomez?
Okay. Oh, yeah, he said good time, death to Justin Bieber.
Oh, okay.
You know what? Bieber's overplayed. I mean, I think, you know, everybody is going gaga over Baby Huey. It's like, you know, he's only been around a few years. He's not all that. You know, what we're seeing, folks, is somebody going down the toilet very quickly. And it's happening with Amanda Barnes or Baines.
Amanda Bynes, yeah.
Bynes or Bile.
Bile.
Lohan.
The stuff that comes out of liver.
Low life, Lohan. And who else? Who else is it happening with? It happened
Paris,
with,
Paris Hilton.
Yeah, Paris Hilton. Of course,
she's laid low for
she
a while.
survived. She had enough money. And of course, she was she's related to Conrad and the Hiltons. And believe me, I work for the Hiltons. They're no joke. They will cut you off of their inheritance in a second.
Mm-hmm.
They probably said, you keep going out there, girl, you're going to wind up like a prostitute in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Speaking
of some bad news, they said that the body of Stephen Rakes was found on Wednesday, day before yesterday, July 17th, in Lincoln, Massachusetts, west of Boston. Rakes was scheduled to be a witness for the prosecution of James Whitey Bulger before he was dropped from the list. Bulger, a reputed mob boss, evaded police for 16 years. Rakes has alleged that he was forced to sell his liquor store to Bulger. And his mother knows Bulger trial witness survived extortion drama. Former drug smuggler William Davis Lindholm has a harrowing tale of how reputed Boston mob boss James Whitey Bulger allegedly tried to extort $1 million by having a bullet fired past Lindholm's head. In the end, Lindholm lived to testify Wednesday at Bulger's federal trial about surviving a high-stakes Russian roulette-style game. Bulger is charged in the deaths of 19 people during some 2 decades when prosecutors say he terrorized South Boston as the head of the Irish mob. He also faces charges of extortion, racketeering, and money laundering. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges. And Lindholm Prosecutors allege Bulger shook down more than a dozen criminals and made them pay rent, cash for permission to carry on with their business on the streets of London. And Lyndham told jurors that he had never met Bulger until that 1983 encounter. And also, Bulger wanted a piece of action, but no idea that Lyndham had successfully brought in a whopping $72 million worth of marijuana from Colombia to Louisiana. The East Coast smuggler testified. Wow. That's a whole lot of weed.
Wow. Anyway, answer your question, Sergio. You used the right term when you said the description of Latin Americans. That's a perfect term. See, most people like to use the word Hispanic, and I get pissed off about that. I don't care what it says in the dictionary. Every word that's ever invented winds up in the dictionary because people keep using it over and over and over again. But it doesn't mean that it's the right term. And Hispanic is in reference to people that were born in the island of Hispaniola, which would make not only the Dominicans Hispanic, but it would also make the Haitians Hispanic because they share the land. And in fact, the correct term is Latino Americans, like you said, or Latino.
Mm-hmm.
That's the correct term. Like the English. Right? The English are known as English because of their language. The Russians are known, even though, what do they speak? Russian. All right?
But
the Spanish people are diverse. They're all over the world. But what's their language? Latin.
Well, Spanish, actually.
Well, Spanish.
That's where you get the word Hispanic comes from.
I know. They invented it. They came from Hispaniola because Hispaniola was taken over by
but
what?
Brazilians are not
the
Hispanic.
Spanish.
Brazilians are not Hispanic. They're Latino because they speak Portuguese.
That's
they don't
correct.
speak
Which is the point I'm saying. Portuguese, Italians, Spanish. They're all in the Latin language.
Okay.
Right?
I guess we're getting a cue from Ed.
1034. By the way, it's time for a little injection of our Lord and Savior. Okay. That's why you're the producer. That's why you're the producer.
Yeah, Tubby
Keep us on track.
Tubby Dude says British is different than English. Well, yeah, because British unifies English and the Scottish and the Welsh, and they make up, Britain.
But their language is what?
English.
And don't forget. Oh, by the way, today's title is Don't Forget. January 19, 2013.
Where's the kaboom?
July.
There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
You said January. That was 6 months earlier.
Yeah, I'm starting all over again. July 19, 2013, written by Joe Stowell. And the title, of course, is Don't Forget. And don't forget it. Hopefully, you won't. I don't agree with those who rail against the material things and say that owning stuff is inherently evil. I was told that. And I have to admit that I'm a consumer, often tempted to pad my pile of treasures with items I think I need. But I do recognize that one of the dangers of owning a lot of stuff is that it can lead to spiritual loss. The more we have, and the more we feel as if we have all we need, the more prone we are to forget our need for God and even our desire for Him. Yet ironically, everything we have comes ultimately from God, who gives us richly all things to enjoy. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 17. Sadly, our enjoyment of God's provisions might just mean that we end up loving the gift and forgetting the giver. This is why when God was getting ready to give His people a life full of bounty in the promised land of good and plenty, He warned, beware that you do not forget the Lord your God, in Deuteronomy 8:11. If God has allowed you to enjoy material abundance, remind yourself where it came from. In fact, all of us, whether rich in this world's goods or not, have much to be thankful for. Let's heed the warning and not forget the Lord and praise Him for His abundant goodness. I'd rather have Jesus than silver and gold. I'd rather have His than have riches untold. I'd rather have Jesus more than anything this world affords today. And that was written by Ree F. Fulton. Love the giver more than the gifts. And today's reading in Deuteronomy 8:11. Don't forget. He says, beware. In other words, he's warning us that you do not forget the Lord your God. There you have it.
There you go.
Good on.
Thank you.
You forget, that's on you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the applause. Very good reading by Irving.
Thank you.
Let's see. Also, we had some other news. I was trying to find that an Alabama infant dies after being locked inside of an SUV. Hopefully, which I guess the family definitely needs prayer in this. After hearing Daily Bread. An 11-month-old girl died yesterday after being locked inside of a hot SUV parked outside of a business owned by her family in Homewood, south of Birmingham, Alabama. MyFoxAlabama.com reports that the child, Gabriella Long, died at an area hospital after she was found unresponsive in the vehicle. Police have said the temperature inside the SUV was nearly 130 degrees when they arrived. Katie Long, the girl's mother, told Al.com yesterday that she wishes she could have traded places with Gabriella. If I had to die for her to live, I would have done that, she told the newspaper.
Wow.
What was her excuse?
Who was that?
For leaving her in the car. Okay.
Yeah. I have no idea. They didn't specify, unfortunately.
Oh, well.
You have to go to read the full report on FoxNews.com.
Yeah. What else, Derek?
Well, on other news, it is official that Robert Downey Jr. is Hollywood's highest paid actor. Wow.
Think about it. This guy was a complete junkie for like, how many years? About 5 years?
A decade, yes.
Yeah, about a decade. Wow. Well, there you go.
Well over a decade.
Lindsay Lohan, listen up.
Yeah. He was, he made...
make a great comeback.
This year, he made $75 million in this movie, in the movie Iron Man 3 alone. $75 million. Wow. Though Forbes has pointed out that Downey has a long history of failure in the years before he went to the superhero, his franchises, the Iron Man and the Avengers, are proven box office winners, and the actors' bank accounts show it. The list looks only at estimated earnings, unlike the magazines offer other rankings. The Power List, for example, takes into consideration factors like the social media visibility. I guess that's just for box office. I didn't say anything about what he's making, just for video rentals, video purchases, cable TV, pay-per-view, and video on demand. That's the other way you could actors get the income, from the movies. But that, I guess that's just from the box office alone. But here's the rest of the this year's top 10. Channing Tatum is second place with $60 million made this year. Hugh Jackman made $55 million this year, I guess, due to Les Miserables and his role as the Wolverine. Mark Wahlberg is in $52 million. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, $46 million. Leonardo DiCaprio with $39 million. Adam Sandler with $37 million. Tom Cruise making less than Adam Sandler. Wow, $35 million. Denzel Washington making $33 million. And Liam Neeson rounding out the top 10 with $32 million. Wow.
Well, I just want to say this. I feel better than Robert Downey Jr. right now. I'll tell you why. Because I noticed that the chatters were into what we were reading, what I was reading in the Daily Bread. I appreciate all the compliments from Plastic and Too Much and these guys. It really goes to show you that when you read God's Word, it never comes back void. Whether it's people reacting in a negative way or in a positive way, doesn't matter. It always never comes back void. That's why we have it as part of our show. And so I'm so glad that that you guys, at least listening and making comment on it, whether it's good or bad. I really don't care. Of course, I like the good ones, but who doesn't?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but even the bad ones are very interesting because it goes to show you that exactly. Well, remember, God's word is within you. You can't read it. Yes, you have to. The word is living and active. Sharper than a double-edged sword. It becomes active inside of you once you read it and get it. Because before that, you're really just walking around wondering, what are all these feelings? What are all these meanings behind all that? You're not even sure what the hell you're feeling.
Yeah. Uncle
Once
Salty
you read your
says,
Bible, then you get
Uncle
it.
Salty says, how many meanings
The
does
mirror
Irv
to the
get
soul.
this?
Yeah, the Bible's a mirror to the soul.
Yeah.
When you look in the mirror, what do you see? You see
Yourself.
ugly me, or
your reflection
somewhat
of
ugly.
yourself.
God help me, I look in the mirror and
exactly.
see you.
The mirror doesn't
Oh,
break.
Jesus.
But when you look at yourself in a mirror, all you see is flesh. But what the Bible does is it lets you see what's inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a mirror to the soul. So yeah, you have to read it. You don't just through osmosis with your good feelings and
if
intentions.
Irv was getting millions
figure it
on
all out. It
Salty,
doesn't
I
work
would
that
hope he
way.
would love to. I hope he'd be able to share it because trust me, I need a decent car. I need a car with nothing fancy, but with the good stuff. Airbags, air conditioning, brakes. Good stuff. Nothing fancy.
Uncle Salty says, Irv, stop cutting Derek up.
All right, please, Uncle Salty, you're always on trying to run the show.
God,
you want your own show? Go have your own show and take him with you if you want. He'll work part time. You better pay him though.
What picture?
Whatever.
Please don't show
Whatever,
that picture, man.
Uncle
This
Salty.
is the weekend, man. You don't want to make people sick during the week.
Oh, Uncle Salty, if you're gonna go there, don't go there. I'm not having it. Anyway, yeah, I'm an asshole. What can I say? You're not the only one that said that. Line up, pal.
Oh man, talk about some
right, go
some
ahead.
other news. This is from Ed. It was a courthouse news service. Courthouse news. This is in Benton, Arkansas. Arkansas sheriff deputies tied a man to a chair for 8 hours and beat him until his teeth were knocked out from his mouth.
Wow.
After a traffic ticket, the man claims in court. It says Anthony Westbrook and sued Saline County, its Sheriff Bruce Pennington and Deputy Calvin Reed in Saline County Court. He claims the defendants have created an atmosphere of terror and torture at the Saline County Detention Center. Westbrook, who also sued 5 Jane Doe deputies, claims that he was beaten and unconstitutionally restrained for 10 hours after his arrest and medical treatment. He claims the Doe deputies in the Saline County Detention Center not only watched the beating but refused to intervene and conspired between themselves to destroy video evidence. After being arrested and detained, Anthony Westbrook was handcuffed, restrained, and beaten by Deputy Calvin Reed until his teeth were knocked from his mouth and suffered facial and jaw and other physical injuries and other injuries constituting excessive and unconstitutional force, Westbrook said in the complaint. That is crazy.
I started being a disciple, I guess, back in 1990. Soon after that, we went train preaching. Actually, Eugene probably remembers that, DJ. When we went train preaching, I was a little bit over the top, of course, calling people demons. What the hell? Anyway, they say that all the time on the subways in New York. You have to live in New York to understand that. People can go off on you for no reason. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was the best time in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, the best times in my life have been when I was single and I was a disciple, or still I am, but whatever. People will criticize me for not going to church or whatever. I just don't want to go to a group of people who are hypocritical. I'm sick and tired of it. I mean, I can live that way every day. I don't need to go to a church where I'm going to find refuge and find the same lame-brained people in there as I do out in the world. So, what's the difference at this point? So, yeah.
Yeah. I do have some...
DJ says a little.
Yeah, I have some other news entertainment.
You can attest to that, right?
There's a lot of new faces going on The Walking Dead, and basically one of the first...
They're coming to Macon, by the way.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I hope they're able to look us up. Hey, I'm an actor, by the way.
The Walking Dead. We already have it. I mean, we got the best Walking Dead actors out there.
Mm-hmm.
You look like Walking Dead.
Yeah.
There's a new character that's going to be introduced in the new season of Walking Dead. His character's name is Stookie, Bob Stookie, played by Lawrence Gilliard Jr., who was best known in TV shows such as The Wire on HBO.
Yeah.
I think he also was in some movies too. I think he was in he was an extra or had a featured extra in the movie Gangs of New York by Martin Scorsese. Because I've seen his face before many times. He's African American.
Yeah, Martin Scorsese, one of the last great directors out there.
Yes, definitely, without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, definitely a living.
All right, so quickly, just read a couple of paragraphs of this because I want you to do birthdays, right? And then we're gonna do trending, and then
word shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we got the word crap going. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I want to talk about the Comic Con. You know, that's where all the geeks talk about the comic book characters. That's big. It's really big in San Diego. The San Diego Comic Con International began last night on July 18th. Last night, and it will end this upcoming Sunday, July 21st, around the same time as the British Open. In England started the golf competition. British Open started yesterday in England, and I guess it would be a nice segue for sports, which is on a bad note. I guess sadly, a national water ski champion passes away. A national water ski champion by the name of Quentin Cotton.
Yeah, he looks old.
Yeah, he's 76.
I mean, some people want to be Michael Jordan, and they're like, they don't have the stamina to do that. After a certain time, don't you think? Like, give up the gloves?
Well, I mean, give up. Yeah, of course, give up the gloves competition-wise, competitively speaking. But for recreation, just to keep yourself healthy, no, you shouldn't. That should be a lifetime thing to do. To keep yourself up, keep yourself healthy. Basically, he was. Mr. Cotton is a national water skiing champion who was called Megan's Leif Topasovsky's home. He's going to be laid to rest this upcoming Monday. He passed away July 16th. In the summer of 2007, Cotton won first place in slalom skiing in the National Water Skiing Championship Tournament and received second place in the overall competition. Wow. He began water skiing when he was 17 years old, so he was doing it for almost 60 years. So... Wow. He said in an interview he skied almost daily, and he gave credit for his success in the sport to his wife Ruthie, who was considered his trainer. He also helped organize an annual New Year's Day skiing event at Lake Topasovsky for the Macon Water Ski Club. The New Year's event has been a tradition for over 50 years. Celebration of his life will be held on Monday at 11:30 a.m. at Snow's Memorial Chapel on Cherry Street. So our condolences to Quentin Cotton's family members, and he will be missed in Macon as well as in sports as well. And also on the leaderboard in the British Open, Tiger Woods is now on the leadership board right now. He's tied for fourth place along with Henrik Stenson and Lee Westwood. They're both tied, I guess 3 under par. I guess. And Bubba Watson is tied for fourth place as well. There's a 3-way tie for first place between Miguel Angel Jimenez, Rafael Gabriel Bello, and Zach Johnson. So those two haven't even budged a bit as far as the place, because they were also tied for first place yesterday. Yeah. When the British Open started underway yesterday. There's also another news. Cowboys defensive tackle Brent retires. Mr. Josh Brent, he retired from football at the age of 25 yesterday, saying doing the right things in life is more important as he prepares to defend himself against a manslaughter charge in a drunk driving crash that killed a teammate. Brent said that he had given a lot of thought to his decision, and his football career has been on hold since the December 8th crash that killed Jerry Brown, a practice squad player, a college teammate, and a close friend of his. Brent is charged with intoxication manslaughter and faces up to 20 years in prison if he's convicted, though he could also get probation probably. Suburban Dallas police accused Brent of driving with a blood alcohol intent more than twice the legal age limit twice the legal limit the night of the crash, so it was more than 08. Wow. That is really bad. Owner Jerry Jones and coach Jason Garrett both said they supported Brent's decision to focus on life outside of football instead of the game. And Jones told reporters that Brent's recent failed drug test didn't affect his support of the player.
Wow. Listen, I got breaking news over here, just sent by Tubi Tub. Very, very interesting.
Okay.
I kind of like that. The President, Congress, and the Department of Homeland Security may think it's legal to spy on the land of the free by deploying thousands of drones over the skies of America. But the residents of Deer Trail, Colorado, have a different idea. Not only are they set to vote on hunting licenses authorizing the shoot-down of unmanned aerial vehicles hovering over their town, but they'll be issued a $100 bounty if they can prove they did. That is a great, great way of counteracting what I feel is the most blatant rape, if there's no better word, than our Fourth Amendment rights, than what they're doing to us. I'm telling you, with drones and its computers, yeah, that's right. NSA.
Big Brother.
Whoever's listening.
Big Brother.
You people have been taking advantage of us for a long time. And I know you're going to round us up in some FEMA
camp.
Colorado. Like Auschwitz, eventually.
I got the video coming.
You got the video?
In a sec. Let's keep
Bring it on, baby.
Okay.
Check this out, folks. Thanks, Tubi Dude.
Well, it's not ready, but
I
definitely.
Ready. All right. Well, I'll read the story. I'm almost done.
Yeah, keep going. What you doing?
All right. The hunt is on, and it's up to the residents of every single town in the United States of America to join Deer Trail, Colorado. And the thing is, look, you know what? I think it's okay. Yeah, if they think it's okay to send a drone here to spy on us, I think we have the right to shoot its ass down, if nothing else. Right? Land of the free? I mean, it's like finding out that a guy has a camera in your toilet while you're taking a dump.
What, of all places?
Right?
Yeah. Well, that's an invasion of privacy. No?
Yeah.
And only on 7 News, a small Colorado town considering a bold move, putting a bounty on drones, even issuing hunting licenses to shoot them down. 7 News reporter Amanda Koss talking to the man behind the ordinance and town leaders who see dollar signs.
About 60 miles east of Denver, a town easily missed in the blink of an eye.
Deer Trail was like a hustling, bustling place 100 years ago, but not so much now.
You're looking at this small town's biggest claim to fame. It's the site for the world's very first rodeo. Now this town is looking to start another first right here on these grounds. The first drone hunt.
And I would like to be known for first place in America to have a drone hunting license.
Philip Steele drafted a town ordinance providing unmanned aerial vehicle hunting licenses and bounties. Wouldn't that be a federal offense?
I'm going to shoot it down, ordinance or no.
Have you ever seen a drone flying over your town?
No, this is a very symbolic ordinance. The fact that this is being done by a tiny little town of about 500 people.
Under the ordinance, a $25 license would buy 21 and up permission to aim at unmanned aerial vehicles, but only with a shotgun, 12 gauge or smaller, pointed to the sky. Shooting down drones with a shotgun, is that even possible?
No, it's not possible.
Even still, there's a bounty. Deer Trail would pay licensed shooters $25 for identifiable parts of a drone, and $100 for a whole or nearly intact one. You guys don't intend on having to pay any of that out?
No, we don't intend on paying none of that out. Unless we get lucky. I mean, we gotta keep a little petty cash just in case somebody does cash this on.
The town clerk, board trustee, and mayor see potential to cash in on the novelty. If passed, these rodeo grounds could be the site for drone days.
It's a potential fun moneymaker.
Drone hunting days, exactly. Like shooting clay pigeons and stuff, but we'll call it drone practice.
To him, it's a novelty, yes. To me, I'm serious.
But in Deer Trail, bounty hunting drones is still up in the air. Is that something you would like for this town to be known for?
Well, I don't know. I haven't made my decision yet.
Amanda Cost, 7 News.
Have you ever heard
And the Deer Trail Board of Trustees.
Neither did I till this
Yeah, well,
made them famous. Good publicity, bad
when
publicity.
I went to,
it's still publicity.
Yeah.
But when I went to Las Vegas, Nevada, we were trying to get to, which we never got to, Grand Canyon in Arizona, I think Colorado somewhere. We drove to a place with the name Trail on it.
Mm-hmm.
Flagstaff is another one where the big fires are burning now. We drove to some of those towns. Anyway, I think it's a good idea. If they have the audacity to spy on us the way they are. And, you notice it said Border Patrol, but it's not anywhere near a border. It's like in the middle of the United States,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like, what the hell does that have to do with borders?
Yeah, I mean, unless they're near unless they happen to be near Area 51 or someplace like that,
Wow.
That's something that some people need to address. Speaking of address, that is our word of the day. Wordsmith, address.
Address,
Yes.
not a dress, but address.
Address, ADD.
Kind of like what Anthony
RESS.
did yesterday in addressing that forum.
Yes.
Screaming out.
Address originally meant straighten. William Caxton, for example, here uses it for stand up straight. The first day that he was washed and bathed, he addressed himself right up in the basin, according to Golden Legend, published 1483. This gives a clue to its ultimate source. Latin directum, straight, direct. The first two syllables of this seem to have gradually merged together to produce drictum, D-R-I-C-T-U-M, which, with the addition of the prefix ad, was used to produce the verb adjectare. Of its descendants in modern Romance languages, Italian adriziare most clearly reveals its source.
Yeah.
Old French changed it fairly radically to adresser, and it was the form which English borrowed. The central current sense of which somebody lives developed in the 17th and 18th centuries from the notion of directing something such as a letter to somebody. And that is our word origins by John Ato. And who said that first?
Wait, before we go there was a word, drictum?
Yeah. Directum.
Yeah.
What, you trying to say it was rectum and directum?
Yeah, I mean, you said it first, but get it? But you think about it, when they addressed the crowd yesterday, it was like they were talking out of their drictum.
Oh, that drictum, I see.
I know it's a stretch, but not much.
Keep doing that, your face gonna freeze like that.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead. Who said it first?
Oh, yeah, I don't have a face
I know
stroke.
somebody that happened to.
Ooh, okay.
Right.
His face froze like that.
Well, here's the scoop. Who said this first? Backseat driver. As cars become more commonplace, so too did the impulse grow for passengers to give advice to the driver.
Oh, God. Yes.
Backseat drivers were first mentioned in a newspaper in 1921 in the Bismarck Tribune in North Dakota, and defined as those whose issue instructions, give advice, and offer criticism. The term reached a much wider international audience in 1930 when Jeeves and the Old School Chum by P.G. Wodehouse was published. Quite suddenly and unexpectedly, no one more surprised than myself. The car let out a faint gurgle and like a sick moose and stopped in its tracks in the back seat. The backseat drivers gave tongue. What the matter? What has happened? I explained. I'm not stopping it, the car. So there you have it. Who said it first? The backseat driver was in a newspaper in the Bismarck Tribune in North Dakota in 1921.
Wow. Well, Too Much says me to my mother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
Three Bear says, I have a backseat driver who doesn't have a license yet. That's usually the case.
Well, I definitely
they're good at video games.
It's 11:01. I just want to do a quick list of celebrity birthdays. Brian May, astrophysicist, singer, and songwriter, and one of the guitarists of Queen, whose song Bohemian Rhapsody was voted as UK's favorite song of all time in 2002. He turned 66 years old today. Anthony Edwards, TV's fans remember him as Chief Resident Dr. Mark Green on ER, as well as Goose for Top Gun, but I also remember him as one of the head nerds in the Revenge of the Nerds movies back in 1984. He turns 51 years of age today. Lizzie Borden, a rich murder suspect who allegedly gave her stepmother 40 whacks upside the head, was born in 1860.
Yeah, good old Lizzie.
Yeah, good old Lizzie, yes. Simon Rex, American film and television actor for his work on scary movie parody films. He turns 39 years old. An Indian-American wrestler who became a rising star of the WWE with Ted DiBiase in a conspiracy to take down Kane, who was part of the three-man band 3WB, who's going to be on WWE Friday Night SmackDown tonight. Jinder Mahal, he's 27 years old today.
Yeah.
Vicky Carr, pop singer's emotional hit was Must Be Him. Vicky Carr, she turned 72. Samuel Colt, inventor of the Colt revolver, known as the gun that won the West. He was born on this day in 1814. Angela Griffin, a British actress on Coronation Street, who is also an anti-SIDS campaigner. She turns 37 years old. Stuart Scott, ESPN sportscaster who covered NFL and NBA playoffs, interviewed notable sports personalities, and his favorite tagline is "Booyah!" Stuart Scott turns 48 years old. And last but certainly not least, the wife of the great baseball player Jackie Robinson, Rachel Robinson, turns 91 years young today. So thank you very much, Mrs. Robinson. And we appreciate you and your husband.
Here's to you, Mrs. Robinson.
Mm-hmm. It was before my time.
Oh, like a bridge over trouble.
That's a whole other song, but made by the same group. But anyway, I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you be safe. Definitely take care of yourselves. Definitely, it's going to be raining this weekend, so definitely watch out for puddles and whatnot.
Wear your galoshes.
Definitely.
Well, don't forget the rubbers.
Yeah, definitely the rubbers and galoshes too.
Yeah. Well,
and also, we'll see you. Have a good weekend. We'll see you Monday. I'll tell about the story about a guy who was falsely accused of a crime but saved by his phone app. We'll be back on Monday. Until next time, on behalf of Irv and Ed, this is DB saying, can you smell what the roast is brewing?
I'll see you at the schoolyard. Good time. Thank you, Three Bears.
I try to tell a putty shit.